Brev, I almost did not make it. Okay. I don't know what's well. Look, I think I'm at this point. I think I'm cursed. All right, the forever experience tech issues. No matter what I do, I have probably like close to probably the best hardware could possibly have, more or less, at an individual personal level. And oh, my headphone thing. And yet, I don't know. I was having some very strange issue with the way my one of the stream encoders was acting, like for the vertical one. I couldn't, for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out. But it's okay. It's all right, right? More or less, this should be probably the most stable I am possibly going to get it. Right? I don't have the encoder overload error no more, right? Everything looks more or less good to me as far as I can tell. All I got to do now is just make sure that the audio is good, guys, and then we are good. Okay. Um, we'll we'll see. I just want to see which one am I using. I guess I use this one. It's fine. Sure. Come on. No, don't want that one. I guess what? Not just click on my own. I'm sure that I can just click on my own, right? Ah, I can't. See, there we go. Now let me just get the audio confirmation, and then we're good. We'll be happy. So let's see. I can't. See, there we go. Let me just get the audio confirmation, and then we're good. That's what I like to see. Okay, everything's good. Everything's good. Long last, baby. At long last. All right. So, um, how much watts am I using? I'm using 100. My 5090 is using 144.4 watts right now of power, right? So I don't have to worry about nothing melting, right? I was also sitting there doing some tweaking, trying to adjust some fan curves and do this and that. And my AC is on blast right now, and I don't have my pajamas on today. I have my shorts, right? Which is, whoop, yeah, me. Don't want to show too much now, but yeah, because I'm sure yes, I'm usually just always wearing the pajamas, okay, and I now remember why exactly I always did that, because brev, is it like, am I freezing right now? I have the vent. There's an AC vent. The strongest AC vent in the whole house is like right underneath my table over here. Okay, that's blasting up to my desk, and because obviously the desk is then like flat, so then the air just like boofs straight to me. That's the word for it, boof. That's the word to use, boof. Straight boofs to me, and it's like freezing me. But I needed to go because like bruv, I was burning up trying to just like do some preliminary tests before starting this stream to get it all working. So we're good now. Everything's good now, and I'm not dying of sweat. So my apple juice. Worst part is too, guys. Listen, I know I said I was gonna stream a lot, and I am trying. Since February, it's been a battle. It's been a battle between two different things, and that was my hardware being trash. Well, not even being trash, just couldn't handle the things that I was doing. Now that I have the hardware that's doing. The other thing is my schedule. All right, guys, like my weekend work schedules, because I don't get a break. Um, is tough. It is tough. I'm not complaining. Honest to God, I enjoy every minute of it. I really do. Um, but my God, is it hard? So hard that now I'm gonna go ahead and cover up this vent with this thing I have here, cause okay, yeah, my kneecaps couldn't handle it all. But anyway, bro, like, look, I have like there's some weekends, bruv, and just Saturday alone, I'm working 12 hours. I'm working over 12 hours. That's me. That's me actively, bruv. I ain't talking like, you on your shift and you got like some downtime where it's like, okay, cool, maybe I can just start looking at some of this or do some of that or be nice and peaceful, bruv. I'm talking like 12 hard hours. And to be a computer job, 12 hard hours means that you're like you're getting it in, you're doing something. And so like I'm just like bruv, like I'm just be tired. I just be tired, and I'm trying to adjust. I'm trying to get some things adjusted, like personally myself to make it a little bit easier for me, because I didn't realize, well, I knew before how disruptive having to work weekends were, because, you know, like, because you still gotta do shopping, you know, you still gotta do laundry, all that stuff, bruv. But like my upgrade into my work schedule, by upgrade I mean like increased workload that started like after February. It's been hard to get. And the worst part is, bruv, you know what makes the adjustment so hard? You know, when you're doing something and you're trying to adapt or learn or do it, like it's if you're skilled like me, okay, if you're skilled like me, you can adapt pretty quickly as long as you have the repetition, right? You know, second, third time iteration, stuff like that, boom, 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 right? If you have the weakness that I have, which is atrophy, right? When you don't use it, you lose it. The hardest thing you start to experience, because, you know, my weekend schedule is at best like only 2 particular weekends out the month, and then at worst, very busy, like 2 weekends out the month every other month, every second or third month. Okay, so like it's very hard for me to make the adjustments, review, be like, I do this and this, and I've only experienced it once, maybe twice, at its peak worst case scenario as far in terms of like workload. Okay, so it's hard because, you know, I sit there and make the adjustments to do what I do, right? And then, you know, you sit the atrophy after a while, not necessarily complacency, but it's like, you know, it's whatever. I don't even remember like the stress I used to deal with. And then the day comes, and then not only are you reminded of like all of the hardships, I'll say, right? But then like that's also the worst time to then experience anything brand new, which is why repetition is so important, because there's more chances for you to also compensate for anything new that might occur, right? You do something just one time, you wait a couple of months and expect it to, you know, to experience that same thing. Bro, I'm sweating. All right, you know what? I gotta take this. I'm taking this off. All right, in a second, but or I just lift this up like this. I think, yeah, this will be fine. I think that you know, having the opportunity to then like hash out any unforeseen anomalies, right? Because the anomalies are what'll get you when you're learning or trying to work out or figure out anything, right? Those anomalies are the most hardest thing there is. And I see that I'm still experiencing the code overload. Eventually, like I'm in a position now to bring it all in now that I have the hardware, because just not having to see the encoder error the entire time is already a step in the right direction. So now I just need to go ahead and just bring stuff. I got it. I know what I probably need to do. I'm just like what's the word I'm looking for? Stubborn. I know what needs to be done. I just need to know what's the best of the two, like, non-preferred ways I want to do it are to be used. This apple juice is hitting. I'm gonna have to get me some more later. But okay, we're back in here. Okay, still gonna be a bit slow. I might need one more week just to do some adjustments, not only for this, but just for my server, because now I finally got my server 100% stable. Apparently there's this GPU plugin that was hoeing the hell out of my server, bruv. Like, my server was so unstable with the most weirdest of things I couldn't like pinpoint down until I worked with support for the operating system I use in order to figure it out. So we're making the big moves. Everything's getting established, and oh man, that was a terrible freeze. That freeze looked terrible. We got it. I promise you. I just need like one more week. Okay, one more week. But now with that being said, let's go ahead and let's move on over. Shit, I might even whip the PlayStation 5 out. Maybe pull out the PlayStation 5 out just to play something while we got some politics videos going. Oh, and then I discovered some new tools I want to use too. We're going to get into that as well. I'm trying not to be too zesty today. Don't want to be too zesty. All right. Okay. All right. We're here. We're here. We are here. All right. Let me yeah. Bro, when I say that I've sat there and added and changed so much stuff and added so many new tools and whatnot, bruv. I'm trying to tell y'all. It's no joke. I have completely revamped my stream. I hardly recognize it almost. Okay, it's over there. I was like, where the hell is the chat thing at? All right. So first thing I'm gonna do is let me just get the plugged up because we're doing videos today. We're gonna do some we're gonna look and see what's going on in the world. I remember seeing the thing with Biden's cancer diagnosis, and then of course people are just gonna be going crazy about it. But other than that, I mean, I haven't really heard anything. Apple's getting the 25% tariffs hit. That'll be interesting. I'd be really curious to see what's going on there. 25% tariffs on the Apple product. Well, on all iPhones or all phones, period, right? That's going to suck because this was the particular year I was going to be in a position to finally get me a new phone that I need to. Brev, I took my phone case off and the whole back panel of my phone separated. Like, actually came up with it. It was so hot. I left it in my car and it was so hot, bruv, that when I tried to, because I saw it overheated and I was trying to like just take it out the case and put it in front of like my car's AC to like cool it down. So when I pulled it out, I could see the chips and everything. I was like, what the hell? And I looked and I was like, oh, I had to put it back. Right? It completely separated. I need a new phone. And now I'm at the position where, like, bruv, I have revived this phone so many times. I've sat there and like, I've repaired the screen twice, right? Because I'm a bit clumsy. But I've learned from these things, and my next phone will not experience none of this stuff. Okay, let me be very clear about that. Especially since it's going to be a particularly expensive phone. I don't want to have to sit there and go through any of that. But this is the year for me to get a new phone, and now here we are looking at all these tariffs, bruv. All these tariffs is going to be terrible. What do I want to use? I wanted to use. Did I ever put? I did not. I'm trying to think about this for a second. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. We know what we're gonna do. I'm going to just real quick. You're gonna watch me in real time, like make my stuff more efficient here in a second. Did I ever turn my V-frame server on? Did I not turn my V-frame server on? Oh yeah, I did. I was about to say. I was like, I know it's on. Don't lie to me now. Okay. Let me. Software. Where did I put that at? I think I put it in the default. I'm sure I did. Yes, I did. I need to check to see if there's an update. Hasn't been updated in a while. All right, hold on. Let's add a new profile. PowerShell don't matter. It really don't matter. Starting directory, which I want it to be here. Okay. All right, that should be fine. And then if I recall correctly, Linux is period / Windows likes it to actually be a / Windows likes to actually be a /, which I need to do this, right? / and then SCR CPY. Okay, I was like, hold on. I was like, what? SCR CPY. Yeah, it is an executable. And let's just say, I'll just call this Android screen sharing. Okay. Save this. All right. This is how you get this connected here. So let's do this. Okay, so see, and it worked without a problem. That's what I like to see. Hit allow. And I see my baby. Yeah, okay. Yeah, see? All good, all good. Okay. Let me close this, bring this down. If I almost right, a little bit of a black barrier, but I guess I'll have to do, right? It's gonna have to do. Yeah. Ooh, that delay is like tragic. Okay. So this is going to be ready. Oh, this is going to be good. Now what's next? What's next? Edge. Hold on. All right. Now let's break collusion. Oh no, that's not that one. Hold on. I'm just pulling up the YouTube. Is it this one? It is this one. Boom. Well, what happened? I know I hit OK. Why did it just flip back? Okay. Maybe I hit cancel by mistake. Do I need anything? Capture audio? No, I don't need to capture no audio. Oh, why is it so far over my face? Hold on. Oh. It's like way off on yeah, I mean, just a little bit, we can. Or do I want to squeeze? Do I want to squeeze the, what is this? Width by height, right? Length times width times height, right? So width is always first. So I should be able to just, yeah, okay. Yeah, see. Can I just use my keyboard here? Pull that locals. All right, let's do like 1920. 1920. See, is that enough to get you? Oh shit, that's like spot on. How did I know? How did I know that was gonna be spot on? All right, do that. Make sure the vertical scene is good. Everything looks good. Everything looks good. I'm so happy. I don't even see no encoder issues. It's like I'm right there at the cusp of everything being balanced. Everything's almost being balanced. I need to figure out why I'm so white. And as soon as I say that, I freeze. You see? I see it. Don't worry. I'm like, bro, I just need one more little push on getting it right. I just need one more little push on getting it right. Oh, you know something? Did I ever put the power thing back? Oh, I didn't. What's my hold on, what's my processor? I forgot I had my processor cap. So my processor is only using half of its power. Right? Half of its power, and I have it clocked down as low as I can have it without it crashing on me, or as low as it's going to be allowed by Windows. And that, for this particular processor, which is a 9950X, got a 9950X, guys, I know. Ryzen 9 9950X, okay? Bear with me. 3.03 gigahertz is what I have the CPU locked down to. That's the lowest Windows is allowing me to clock it down. I keep all my things clocked down as low as possible to generate less heat because it'd be cooking me, but also too because I just like experimenting and messing with that kind of stuff. So we're gonna actually, let's go ahead and let's release it. So, and the thing is when I have it clocked down too, it only uses half the processor. It refuses to use the other half, or you know, all of it, or just, use it all and lower that. No, it just, it on the task manager, it just shows us the CPU. It says CPU parked as far as like when I go to the individual cells or whatever. So everything looks good. I am I don't want to say an extremist. Extremist is a bad word. Don't use that. But I like to just mess with the boundaries of the technology I use here. But let's go ahead and let's bump that up. All right, balance. And now, and look at that. I see all the CPUs used fit 5.18 gigahertz. 5.18 gigahertz, 3 to 5.18 gigahertz. Okay, now my system is not playing around. My system's getting it. 5090s on deck. Right, the currently at 47 degrees Celsius. I want to change that to Fahrenheit, and it won't allow me. Goddamn Chinese products, man. But anyway, okay, so we're just about just about ready. Everything's looking pretty good to me. I just want to do some quick changes on the task manager because I want to view some things. I like to view the encoders specifically. It has 5 encoders. 5 encoders. In case anybody's wondering, if you ever like trying to get a 5090, okay? 5090 apparently, according to Windows, has 5 encoders. Five encoder chip things, whatever you want to call it. They probably like, I'm pretty sure separate chips. I think AMD is the one that does the combined, where like it'll make one chip be able to do like 2 things at once, versus Nvidia that does like a completely separate chip per. I can't vouch for which one's better or not, but you know, this looks good. This looks very good. Join the Mindustry Discord. Okay. We're about to be there. All right, so what are we watching? Oh, let me bring that down real quick and go back. All right, because I don't need that in front of me. Let's see. Pains Assault. No, I'm sorry. Not trying to watch any anime stuff right now. Jubilee's Best Beta. Maybe. Oh, I know what I wanted to look at. It was as a matter of fact, it was a Pierce Morgan. It was a Pierce Morgan thing.
You have to kind of take a step back. See the way.
Stop it. Oh shoot, that's right. I need my headphones in just a moment. We'll do that in just a second. This is what I wanted to watch. Yes. Like I said, the whole Biden thing. Deeper Than Diddy. Brett Cooper and Justin Bieber meltdown plus. What? Something also up with Justin Bieber. Does Justin Bieber get got as a child? Rev, let me tell y'all something. I want to say that when it comes to all this, like, child, I won't say, yeah, he was technically a child, but all this, like, extra, like, sex stuff, sex crime stuff, like, people, well, I get it. People act like it's just, like, rampant in all of Hollywood and whatnot, guys. And, of course, I'm not there, so I couldn't tell you. But I am almost 100% sure it's just like anything else, where like this stuff happens just as it would anywhere else, and it probably happens at the same rates as it does anywhere else. The only problem is Hollywood is probably a little bit more elevated because you have that whole power dynamic and money and stuff like that. But then again, like I kind of argue against that kind of point, just because you had plenty of powerful people, just period, and that could be in other companies and whatnot that exploit people the same exact way. So I just don't know. We will skim Brett Cooper because I've just been wondering how she's been doing since she left the downward spiraling show that I can't even think of the name right now. Daily Wire. There we go. The Daily Wire says the Daily Wire is on the decline. Sorry, I keep dropping my glove here. The Daily Wire is on the decline. Daily Wire is on the decline here. But so I'd be curious what she's over there talking about. Justin Bieber had a meltdown. This will be interesting. Where did I put my headphones at? Oh, headphones over there. I'm going to refill up my apple juice and then come here. I'm refilling my apple juice, and then we're going to get the video played. I think we're good. Okay. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. I need to remember, like, super glue these headphone things, man. I'm scared that these things are gonna rip off like any day now. It's because I'm lazy. I don't want to try to repair them, Bro, this AC is still going. I'm kind of actually shocked about that. Let me just do a quick headphone test. Make sure the headphones are good. Yeah, this is crazy. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get these someday relatively soon. I need to fix it. Let me do a quick audio. Yeah, there we we go. Okay, cool. I did, while I'm thinking about it, I did want to. I guess I would. Yeah, I guess I would actually trying to think about this. Isn't it a compressor, right? It's a compressor that would sit there and allow you to audio ducking source, and I'll be able to audio duck my microphone, right? Because when I talk, I want it to actually hear me. So, output gains, right? I want to, I guess, let's say 12 for right now. We'll have to play around with this. Like I said, this will be part of the last things I sit there do as far as fine tuning's concerned. For this week, I also want to just make some more tech videos because remember, guys, I'm more big on the tech than I am anything else. But I do want to just get a few more tech videos out, and then we'll get like really consistent on the streaming stuff now that things are finally looping. Things are finally starting to loop in, guys. One blessing I will say about this overtime is this overtime has been helping your boy pay the bills, okay? Or pay off his debt, okay? Because your boy is still in a lot of debt, but is not unmanageable by unmanageable, like not having a vision of how you're going to get rid of it, okay? I have the vision. I have the plan. Pretty foolproof. More or less, where I can get most, if not all of it, paid off guaranteed, because you never know what happens in the future. But as far as my contracts are concerned, as long as I don't mess it up, excuse me, right? We should be good. But let me just get a second now to refill, and then we're going to get started. Okay. All right. I like to leave my flip flops faced outward, so then when I walk in, I just literally just throw my feet in. I don't understand how people just sit there and when you enter your door, if you're going in a carpet area and you want to take your slippers off, they just take it off right then and there and just step forward. I can't do it, bro. I always have to turn around and step out backwards because I like that when I'm leaving, I want to be able to just straight to it, right? I don't want to sit there, getting ready to leave and I got to do this awkward turnaround and don't want to do all that. All right. We don't want to do all that. But, all right, we're ready. We're more or less ready now. Let's just get a quick gander at what's going on. I'm gonna super speed this so I can see. I hope she's been doing all right. Well, she seems like a nice gal. Oh, you guys can't see my mouse? I didn't know this. Well, that's unfortunate. Huh. I wonder what's up with the capture thing that you can't see my mouse. Well. Oh, because I'm capturing individual items. And if I was capturing the desktop, I can let it capture the cursor. I can't do that. Cursor's not important. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go for it now.
Money. Go. You're watching a man fight behind the scenes. It is taking a major toll on his life, on his family, on his soul. He's trying to get people riled up. You started that. You're the one who put it in the New York Times, so you don't get to sit here and say, oh, I don't want people in my business. I don't want them to know this. You're taking it too far. That's not a feminist moment. Just go up there and enjoy it and have a great time and be rich.
I made my decision to proceed with OnlyFans upon my own discretion.
You are also taking advantage of the men who are subscribing to you because you know that this is a vice of theirs and you're feeding into it for your own financial gain.
And then I said, you know what I'll do? I'll run again and I'll shove it up their ass.
You can't admit that he's not funny, that he's not having a great time.
You're pregnant.
I am. Yes.
This is very exciting.
Yes, thank you.
Justin Bieber has long been plagued by rumours that he was exploited by Diddy, which many social media sleuths have connected to his recent troubling public appearances. This was an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel's show in 2011.
He knows better than be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
So tell me exactly why popular.
Big Brother Puff. Big Brother Puff, baby. Hold on. Stop it.
And this clip of Diddy appearing to pat him down as if searching for a secret recording device. Well, now Justin Bieber has quashed these claims and rumours. Recent statement said Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims. There are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him, shifting focus away from this reality to track some of the justice these victims rightfully deserve. Well, the pop superstar is concerned his many fans with an alarming public appearances recently. According to TMZ, he was forced to sell his music catalogue after blowing his entire fortune. Well, Brett Cooper, host of the Brett Cooper Show, has followed Bieber's travails closely for her take on this and more. She makes her debut on Uncensored. Brett, I'm lovely to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, let's discuss the Brett Cooper phenomenon. Never mind Justin Bieber. You kind of exploded this year. Why?
Oh gosh. I think people really look for humor and they look for common sense in a very, very chaotic, insane world. And that's what I've hopefully been able to provide for the last couple of years. And I went out on my own starting in January of this year and we launched the Brett Cooper Show and we're doing a couple episodes a week and we're touching on politics and culture and finding sense in all of it. And I'm so grateful to be here.
Well, yeah, I went off on my own in January. So I've been following your development with great interest and you've been highly successful. One of the things you've done a lot on is Justin Bieber. I bumped into Bieber over the years. I met him at an Oscars party when he was still very young teenager. I remember him being incredibly polite. Called me Mr. Morgan, shook me firmly by the hand, looked me in the eye. I remember thinking, really well brought up young man. And then one of my sons bumped into him recently in Los Angeles at a gym, and he just looked slightly out of it. There were paparazzi obviously everywhere, as there always are with him. He didn't look a happy guy. He looked like someone with the weight of the world upon him. And many people have assumed that this has all been to do with what's going on with Sean Combs, Diddy, but that has now been put to bed by Bieber himself. So it does prompt the question: what is causing, do you think, all the issues that Bieber's having?
I mean, it goes so much deeper than just Diddy. And I think obviously that is a weight on him because he has now been involved in this. People have been speculating for months, if not years, about that. So I know that has been heavy for him to handle. But I have spent the last month or so getting to know people that are close to Justin. And interestingly, we've had, similar to you, our lives have kind of been interwoven. Like I was a theater kid when I was younger. And so my voice teacher was at the same studio where he took lessons back in Atlanta when he was a teenager. And so I've just been around him and people that have been close to him for years and years and years up until this point. And in the conversations that I've been having recently, there's just so much that has been going on behind the scenes that people are just now learning about. Most notably due to his break with his longtime manager, Scooter Braun, who he unfollowed at the beginning of this year, who we know, thanks to the press, that he has been in a legal battle with for multiple years to try to get out of the contract that he signed when he was 13 years old. And so we're watching a man fight behind the scenes for his freedom. And I can tell you, based on the people that I've talked to and the things that I know now, that this is not just a normal legal battle. This has been going on for a long time. It is very multifaceted. It is taking a major toll on his life, on his family, on his soul, on his creativity. It is impacting every single aspect of his business and what he is actually able to do. And then on top of that, he is being absolutely hounded by
the exploitation. Oh my God, bro, I cannot speak today. The exploitation of people in Hollywood is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Contract you entered when you was like 12 or 13 years old is wild, right? There should be honestly, I think there should be a lawful clause. If I had to think about it, most certainly one where no contract can extend past by the age of 18. At the age of 18, like that, whatever contracts there before, those issues are killed. And then maybe for good measure, maybe another one at 22. I was going to say 21, but I think 22, where like after you're 22 years old, I don't know, something about that number, 22. No contract should be valid after that, right? There's no legal way to extend your contract past that. I think not that I don't know how old Justin Bieber is, if that would even help him in a situation, but like being able to sign a contract when we wasn't even an adult and you're trying to fight it now, it to me is kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. And again, right? And it's kind of those kind of things that just make sense. Like why don't we not have something like that? That's too easy. I'm sure Trump would actually support going ahead and doing that. But yeah, I'm sure he hates Hollywood. I'm sure to like some degree. So let me pause that. I'm just curious, like, what's the big thing about Justin Bieber right now?
I think you know this, but the paparazzi is the wrongs of people surrounding him no matter where he goes. And so you see him lashing out and saying, just leave me alone. It's like, obviously. And understanding the context of that, it makes complete sense that we're seeing somebody who is struggling because he's fighting with every fiber of his being to protect his family and protect his work and his future career.
Yeah, I mean, Scooter Braun, I had a few run-ins with him. I mean, he's a monumental douchebag of biblical proportions from my experience. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he's trying to screw Justin in terms of this contract situation. But is it just that? Or, famously, Justin said a lot of issues with his family and people who've come in and out of the family and so on. How much of that has played a role? And how much is it just the fact that when you're a superstar at his young age, as he was on that level, a sort of stratospheric, one of the top 5 most famous people on earth at one stage, how easy is it to migrate to just normal adult life anyway? Never mind anything else.
I think it's so complicated, and we've watched this time and time again with so many young people. I mean, we just saw Demi Lovato go through it. She was somebody who worked with Scooter Braun for years and years and years, and they had a falling out and got back together, all of this different stuff. I mean, we've seen it with so many child stars. There's very, very few of them who reached any level of fame that is close to Justin's that I think made it out unscathed. And I think that is what he's fighting to protect now that he is a father. And I think it's, one thing that people should know is that he is now surrounded by a great community.
Bieber has kids?
Group of friends, a great work community, people that he trusts for the first time in years. Because for the majority of his career, everything surrounded Scooter Braun. Because Scooter was not only his manager, but he also owned the label where Justin was signed. He was also a board member on Justin's clothing company. Every single thing went through Scooter. Everybody reported to Scooter. And so for the first time, literally since the beginning of his career, Justin actually has a say in who he's bringing on. And he's able to trust them and know that they actually have his best interests at heart. So I think that is a huge transformation. So we're also seeing this man for the first time in his life has real autonomy over his work and over his creativity. And I think that's exciting for him, but it's also being hindered by the fact that he's still, involved in these legal battles, which are obviously being reported day in and day out.
It's interesting. I was a biographer for a British band called Take That, who were the British response to New Kids on the Block. When New Kids on the Block became this teenage sensation around the world. And I covered them as well. But I remember following what happened with the Take That guys. They were huge pretty much everywhere apart from America. And then one of their group, Robbie Williams, broke free. There's just been a big movie about him and his life that he's been involved with. And I look at what happened to him. I look at what happened to Liam Payne from One Direction, again, a band that I knew quite well. I look at what happened with Michael Jackson, to Justin Bieber, to Britney Spears. There's a whole litany of people who become incredibly famous and, of course, very rich and successful. And famous being the worst drug of all, from my estimation, for some of these people. And then they just really fall apart when they become adults. And partly it can be self-inflicted, drugs and alcohol and all the normal vices that go with great wealth and fame when you're young because you want to go partying. But partly it's often the people around them, who are manipulating them and driving them too hard and don't really care enough about them. As Candace Owens called Hollywood satanic in the way that it gets its grip on young people. How would you categorize it?
I think she hit the nail on the head there, but it's all exploitation on every single level. And I think one thing that I've experienced, and you might have also experienced, Pierce, that, people can imagine on a much broader scale, is that it's very weird when, you're a human being, you're an individual, you are somebody that your spouse knows, that your parents know, but you are also a brand that people work for. And that is a very, very odd thing just in terms of, psychology and being a human being to wrap your brain around. And so to imagine that on a scale of a Liam Payne or a Michael Jackson or a Justin Bieber, where you have all these people working for you, but it almost, it can easily be, swapped and manipulated to be at your expense because they kind of forget that there's a human being at the core of this. And you become a workhorse and your feelings and your health is not taken into account. I think we've seen this time and time again, like you've said, I think it's very easy to fall into those traps, especially when you don't trust people around you. And something that has been so interesting to me as I've been diving into this whole Justin Bieber story is that there is a through line here with him, and that is the business manager, Lou Taylor, who worked with him for not very long, but was brought in after he had fired a bunch of people.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is just all about just him fighting through trying to be a normal functional adult that's not being taken advantage of. Okay. Trump's unique comedic genius. Do I even wanna entertain it? Is OnlyFans sexist against men? Let's look at that and then we're gonna move on. All right, I guess I just wanted to see what was just going on about Justin Bieber real fast. Nothing crazy.
It's hard for us to imagine a life with dirty water.
It's going to happen, trust me. But you touched on something which I thought was really interesting. That a lot of women these days are on OnlyFans, and they're making millions of dollars, millions of pounds, and they're basically just selling themselves as women having sex with 100 men, 1,000 men, whatever it is, their feet fetishes, there's this, that, and the other. It's become a kind of licensed porn site, really, in many ways. What is it? They would say, well, I'm allowed to do what I want with my body. Of course they are, right? Anyone can do what they want with their body. Doesn't mean we can't be slightly judgmental about the way some of them go about it. Is it dispiriting to you to see so many young people of your age, women, who go down that road when they obviously, some of them are very smart business brains. They could apply that, I would argue, in a more worthwhile and less tawdry manner.
Oh, for sure. It is demoralizing, and I think the most demoralizing part of it is that they think that there are no other options. The most recent episode that I did about this was when I was talking about Denise Richards and Charlie Sheen's daughter, who started at OnlyFans on her 18th birthday, and I think it was less than 2 months later, Denise said, well, I want to be a part of this, and so Denise Richards then put herself on OnlyFans. So you have this mother-daughter OnlyFans duo, which is just truly insane, but their daughter, whose name is Sammy Sheen, she did an interview for...
Breath. Oh my God, breath. A mother-daughter duo on OnlyFans? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Ah, man, that is crazy. That is crazy, my guy. Could you imagine? Just, bro, I just don't understand. And you know, and God can only imagine. I can only imagine what the hell they're doing on OnlyFans. You know, OnlyFans started off as just like a fan site where you would just I think, bro, because I remember I even looked at it at one point, because like there was this guy I used to follow that was he was on like Credit Advice or something. Like OnlyFans actually used to, you know, was non-sexual. It was about it was literally just about like just you just connecting with people that you followed a lot for love. Yeah, you would follow a lot that you just get like just like exclusive access to like whatever content. They actually use it as an exclusive access platform. Think of like Patreon. OnlyFans was like almost exactly like Patreon. That's basically what it was back then. Okay, then it changed into the whole sex platform stuff, which was just kind of crazy, if I'm being honest with you. And I just don't understand. I just don't get like how there's so much money. There is so much money in OnlyFans, because that's the only reason why a mother and daughter would want to do that, right? Because there's just so much money just being that's just made available to them. That's crazy. A mother and daughter both doing OnlyFans. It's crazy. As together on the same day, like not even separate. Just it sounds like they're just doing it together. I'm sorry, bro. That's wild. That's just man, that's just kind of crazy. I am not gonna hold you, my fans, my boys. You guys must do better, okay? You guys must do better. Let's go ahead and continue.
For their reality show, and she said, well, I wanted to move out, and I was working at a candy store, and I just wasn't making enough money, so this seemed like the next best option. It's like there's nothing in between working a summer job at a candy store or starting an OnlyFans. And I think we've had this warped perception that it's been given to young people, to young women. It's like, hey, this is an easy way out. Just go make millions. But here's the thing is, you know, only 1% of creators on OnlyFans are actually making millions of dollars. The women are not making much money. And so they're selling their bodies online. They are giving ownership of their bodies to OnlyFans, because that is how the platform works. They, own your content. You're putting that out there forever. And you're calling that liberation. And you're saying, well, maybe I have a shot at being that 1% and making millions and millions and millions. But really, it's just demoralizing. And you're selling yourself, truly. And I also look at it from the men's perspective, where it's like you are also taking advantage of the men who are subscribing to you, because you know that this is a vice of theirs and you're feeding into it for your own financial gain. And so I think on both sides, the consumption and the creation, it is just so
I think it's kind of odd though. Like I don't know if I agree with like you trying to like you adjusting yourself due to the vice of other people. Like I kind of feel like that's just how humanity has always worked with respect to like just monetizing stuff. Like it just think of like I don't know, like something like like absurdly simple, like massages. Okay, like people like massages. And only certain people are going to be able to afford massages. Massages is a very what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. There's a word for it. There is a word for it, where it could be one of those like not necessarily guilty pleasures, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's just be one of those things where like people can't help themselves but to get, because it's nice to just be able to pay money, have somebody rub on your body, be able to order the medical stuff that you get benefit out of it. But if you don't have the medical stuff, just to be able to just feel good. And people monetize that, right? Just like they monetize like any other service. Now OnlyFans is an extreme version of that, right? Because of the whole sexual appeal thing. But I'd argue that the same exact concept applies. Oh, sorry. Don't know why this was acting odd, but okay. But okay, we're kind of good here. All right, we're good here. Now let's go ahead and let's move on to what we've been wanting to listen to all this time, which is
I switched from due dates to due dates, and it made me go
this video here
ahead of my deadlines. You see, I used to just bedrot all.
When you kind of take a step back, you see the way that people around Joe Biden used him for decades. All of these terrible things that happened, there was nobody home.
That's released all the health records of President Biden, who's not president. I also want the health.
Okay, I just want to take a second to actually like assume what is probably going to be said here. If I had to guess, there is almost certainly probably going to be some conspiracy. It's most certainly going to be a conspiracy that oh, like this is proof that although that probably would make sense, right? My initial reaction is that this is proof that, you know, they were hiding that he was not medically fit, and, you know, he has actual problems going on with himself. Which, I mean, kudos to them for coming out with this, because if they tried to hide it, it would have made it like 1,000 times worse. But you know, they would have been like, oh yeah, you know, so obviously, and then to have like, what is it, like stage 4, stage 5 cancer or something, right? Obviously, you know, they were clearly like hiding his medical issues, because like, how do you just pop up with like stage 5 cancer? Because that's like my understanding. Like if I recall the reports correctly, I think like what, like he it just came out with respect to like when they actually made the announcement that he has like stage 4 cancer. And then when you think about it, you're like, hold on, like doesn't that take some time to like actually happen? I remember reading it. I didn't think too much into it. I just know that I recall hearing that you could be one of the unlucky few. You could be one of the unlucky few, just like children. Think of children, for example, okay? You could be the unlucky few that you catch a cancer that's like supercharged. Do not believe these people, because I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to argue, right? They're going to argue that, oh yeah, that clearly they knew he had cancer or being negligent, right? Do not be those people, right? There are cancers that are supercharged, all right? That they will... what's the word I'm looking for? They will grow crazy once they get a foothold. That's just the unfortunate reality of just life, where like if you're just really unlucky, like that's for the unlucky few. The unlucky few that sit there and have those aggressive forms of cancer. Because it's not the type of cancer that takes years to develop, right? Because then you wouldn't have children. You wouldn't have children as young as, like, you know, as what's like commonly seen, like in those please donate money to me advertisements of kids that sit there and have cancer, right? You wouldn't see children that young with cancer if it really took years in order to develop. Like you could just be just those unfortunate people that just have you just have those cancers that's just elevated in their growth rate, and it sucks. It sucks that it's prostate cancer. Can you have your prostate removed? Let me finish this. I want to finish this thing. So see, now I'm interested. I'm curious. Can you actually live without a prostate? Because if I recall correctly, isn't it just oh, but that's right. It made it to his bones, so he's kind of hoed more or less. Like unless they remove the glands and the bones, or like everywhere else has affected and just replace it. Yeah, he's just kind of shit out of luck. Now that I think about it, I think I remember reading it. I remember like that was the whole point of like stage 4 cancer, or that elevator of a stage, right? Because it's just that once it makes its way to like other parts of your body and not just the organs, then I mean you're kind of hoed, my guy. You're really kind of hoed. So man, that's gonna suck. But I am curious if you can actually. If you can actually, like, you know, basically go without a prostate. I'm sure you can, because if I recall correctly, prostate's only something that males have. I thought, like, you know, just anybody had it, but apparently only men have it, because it serves a function of the reproductive organ. I don't know too much about it. I didn't bother like even like wanting to read too much about it. Why is these pathways jacked up that way? All right. Or okay. Yeah, the rest of that is straight. Cool. Okay. All right. So, I mean, at least that's good. Oh, I guess I could. Let me just remove that real quick. And let me get my coal to get. Just get a few more pieces. All right, we get a few more pieces, or do I want the? I guess let me try this instead. Hold on. I mean, you're right. I probably would rather. Yeah, I probably would rather like maybe 2 of these here, or I could just go like this and this, and this. Right? I think. Well, yeah, I think just 3 of these should probably work, and I think if they're touching each other, they power each other. You know. somehow. So let's do that. And okay, let's go. All right, so let's just go ahead. That's what I think this video is probably going to be about, but we'll see. This is going to be conspiracy driven, and just saying that there's no way that, oh, I guess you don't power yourselves when you, sorry. So in case anybody's wondering, in case I start talking about random stuff, I'm playing a just because I'm gonna have the AI review this video at some point in the future. Okay, I am actually playing Mindustry, which is, you know, this crafting, well, not crafting, but, you know, it's one of those just brainish strategic games of just like mining resources and trying to take over planets from like the bad guys or whatever. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and sit here and just try to build this out here. But yeah, like this is gonna be probably conspiracy driven, saying that they were clearly hiding that Biden was on the decline and should have you know, probably should have been more upfront about like his mental health decline and stuff. And they're going to be talking about this over and over because it's just like some clear sign of like some conspiracy that Biden was never fit or healthy, and that's probably going to be a bulk about.
Health records of Donald Trump. Specifically, I want the records of his failed assassination attempt. You know, the bullet that grazed the ear.
With respect, you are beginning to sound like a mad conspiracy theorist.
There is an unbelievable layer of conspiracies here. The scandal is that the media ran in cahoots with the Democrat machine or the Biden machine or whatever you want to call it.
Trump is talking about Biden. The conservatives are talking about Biden. Everybody's talking about Biden. There is no scandal. There is no evidence of any scandal whatsoever. It's just more conservatives saying again that they know nothing about medicine.
James Comey is a huge weirdo with artistic pretensions. Either Comey is the dumbest person on earth, or he knew what he was doing. And I want to be charitable. I think he kind of.
As a personal matter, everybody should feel nothing but genuine sympathy and
Did you guys see that? That's right, the James Comey thing. I think it was like, what is it, like 80, like what is it? Was it 87? Like he made like some odd, like it was like some odd post where it's just like some seashells of like just like where basically like it was code. It was like the most strangest code for assassinate Donald Trump, which to me was just like kind of like crazy. I was like, bruv, like I'm sorry, like you guys are like, okay, sure, he might have came across it. I doubt he sat there and bothered putting those things together just so he could put a picture and post it, knowing full well what was happening or knowing full well what it's meant, and then post it online. He just on his like, oh yeah, look, like these guys, you know, here's a political message. People just don't like Trump or whatever, right? But like to sit there and say that like James Comey is calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are like the most snowflake type of people I've ever seen. Like some goddamn says we don't even know if that's even like what it is. It could be. It probably is. I would assume it may very well be. But like to sit there and say that James Comey is sitting there, like they're not like, bruv, like I'm sorry. You guys are, stop it. Like you guys gotta stop it. All right. Oh my God, excuse me. Oh man. Let's go ahead and continue.
Led by Joe Biden, said he was not only fit to be commander-in-chief, but to do it all again for another 4 years. Meanwhile, as Jake Tapper's book reports, he didn't recognise his friend and world-famous actor George Clooney, or forgot the names of even his closest and longest-serving aide, who was so frail, the staffers wanted to put him in a wheelchair and prevented even members of the cabinet from seeing him. The worries about his cognitive decline go back to at least 2019. And now we know that he probably had cancer for a large part of his presidency, but somehow, inexplicably, perhaps even defying credibility.
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great
It was not protected, or certainly not in a way that was related to the American public. Democrats are rightly upset that so much attention is being absorbed by the last president, not the current one. But who exactly is to blame for that? Oh, right, yeah, it's them, isn't it? The people who said Joe Biden was fitter than a racehorse are smart enough for Mensa at a time when he should have been probably in a nursing home. It's very fair to ask, why should anybody trust them ever again? We're here to thrash it out. It's the host of the Michael Knowles Show on Daily Wire, Michael Knowles, streamer and commentator Destiny, Wajahat Ali, host of the Democracy-ish podcast, and the Rubin Report host Dave Rubin, who's Don't Burn This World Tour, is heading for Hungary, Israel, and Australia, but disappointingly, I have to say, not to the United Kingdom as yet. But I wait.
I thought you had me banned already. Isn't that what happened? We tried to come again.
No, we're all wokies are banned, but you're allowed in. Well, gentlemen, welcome to all of you. All been on our censor many times. Mike, let me start with you, Michael Knowles. It's a legitimate question. I was appalled by the abuse, open mockery, and glee that greeted the news that President Biden has advanced aggressive cancer that's metastasized to his bones. Simply because on a human level, whether it was him or Donald Trump or anybody else, I just think if we reached a point where the reaction to an elderly man potentially dying is treated with great glee, when they've served 50 years as a politician, I just think, sorry, I think it crosses the line. However,
I didn't see a lot of glee in the reaction. I'm not even just flacking for the GOP. From the established mainstream guys. I saw a lot of concern.
Yeah, I'm not talking about mainstream. I'm talking about general, like, people on social media. And I think it's indicative of where social media's gone. It's become, as we all know, because we've all got big followings, it's become a sewer and a cesspit. And I just think it's actually, interestingly, to what you just said, it's incumbent on people who are in the more mainstream, if you like, and I would include all of us here in a way. It's important for us, I think, to try and moderate that kind of stuff as best we can by leading by example. However, it's an important example. However, I'm just not buying the sequence of events. When I saw Ezekiel Emanuel on MSNBC talking about the fact that from his position as a very, very eminent oncologist, it just defies credibility. They just discovered this about Joe Biden, that in his estimation, they probably knew about this or should have known or must have known for maybe 4 or 5 years, even before he got elected before. Just to me, none of this adds up. Because I've had PSA tests. I mean, I'm 60. I've had them in my 50s. Most men do. And if you're the president of the United States, you're getting test after test after test after test. So what do we think we're dealing with here?
I think J.D. Vance exemplified the right reaction here, which is you say, look, we pray for the guy who has cancer, and we're all headed for the dust at some point. So let's not be too cruel about it. But also, don't allow our sympathy to distract us from the legitimate political problem that we all have a right to discuss, which is we were lied to. We were lied to by the White House doctor. That White House doctor should probably lose his medical license. Either way, if you're telling me he somehow didn't catch it until moments ago, he's a terrible doctor or he's a liar. Either way, he needs.
Wait, what? The White House doctor should lose his medical license? Lose his medical license for what exactly? Like, not like, I don't even, first and foremost, man, that freeze is terrible. But I don't even know if is cancer screening a standard part of a regular, like, annual health checkup at the White House. I feel like the only reason why, like, even like the White House medical doctor is there, it's just because, like, it's just safer to just have, like, somebody that's assigned specifically to be a physician for the president than for him to just, like, walk up into, like, a regular facility with doctors or, just regular people. Like, I don't think, like, no president is going to sit there and, like, go to, like, your local whatever doctor place is supported by, like, Blue Shield or whatever health insurance company you have, right? You know, like, so I would imagine that they still would follow, like, the same standard procedures as far as like any regular doctor would, which is that, hey, like, you sit there, you look at the most common, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, like the most common causes for, like, any illness or whatnot. Like, you don't immediately jump to cancer for anything. Now, as far as recommending that you should have a cancer screening at your age and whatnot, that could be up for discussion, right? But I don't think, but at the end of the day, too, it is technically Biden's choice or anybody's choice, right? You can choose whether you want to be screened or not for stuff if it's a recommendation. And I'm sure as president, I mean, obviously the shit's free, so you could say that there would have been no reason why not to. But the easiest way that all of this could easily be just blown away would be if he released records, if he has any medical records showing that he was tested even before his presidency for cancer and it came out clean, I think would have even helped out tremendously, because he could just been like, yeah, like, just as president, I just didn't have time for any extra screenings. I went for like the standard, like, annual check. But outside of that, that was like more or less that was it. So, but I doubt that they have that. I'm sure, maybe they might have it, or they may just be like, yeah, it is what it is. You're just not gonna even bother with it. Oh, okay. I made graphite. I need to make silicone. Oh no, I already have a silicone. Yeah, I got all those people for silicone, so we ain't even gonna do that. All right, metaglass. Metaglass is next. I need lead. I have plenty of sand, and we got plenty of places for lead. So let's let's do that. Something, we'll do that over here. All right, let's continue.
It's serious consequences. The White House staff lied, the media lied, the Jake Tappers of the world lied, and that's a very serious problem, because we already had very little trust in our established institutions after COVID. Now you've got the public health officials, the White House doctor, and you've got the White House staff yet again lying to us. One big irony in all of this, at a really low-end political level, The Democrats, when Biden's decline became clear, they decided to throw him out and replace him with Kamala Harris. And just knowing how life expectancy and metastatic cancer progresses, the Democrats would have had a much better chance getting Kamala Harris into the White House had they not instituted a coup d'etat on Joe Biden. Had they just been, I don't know, a little bit more straightforward about everything, they might have gotten what they wanted, but their deceit did them in.
Yeah, which I mean, whichever way you look at this, it just stinks, the sequence of events, doesn't it? I mean, does anybody believe that they have suddenly discovered about a recent president of the United States that he's got aggressive cancer in this manner? I mean, the White House said today, has come out and said the last time not the White House, Biden's people have come out and said the last time we had a PSA test was 2014. For fear it would be raised and raise concerns. I just don't believe that. Why would a man in his 70s not have another PSA test for 10, 11 years?
So I know we love conspiracy theories on the show, but let me just say first and foremost, as a father of a stage 4 cancer survivor, my daughter had a full liver transplant. You know, when I left my daughter, she was perfectly healthy, 2 years old, 6 years ago, and then she had some bumps. My wife took her to the emergency room, and then they found out that she had stage 4 cancer. That's how it happens. So for anyone who is suffering from cancer, anyone who has a lost one, you know, who died from cancer, sometimes it creeps up. That's number one for people to know, and hopefully people will know more about cancer as this Trump administration has cut 31% of cancer research in the first 100 days. Just want people to know that. Hopefully no one has to go through this. We went through it. Joe Biden right now has stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, but sorry, with respect, let me stop you. You're distracting. You're very good at distracting. We're not a show that
no, not at all.
Hang on. I want a show that loves conspiracy.
Oh my God! Did that just come out of his mouth? You're distracting. Whenever you, bro, like all these people that sit there that come on his show, then when you're asking them about something Trump related, that they can't go 2 seconds without talking about how like the something about Joe Biden and the previous president. Well, ironically, they're talking about him right now, right? But it's just like, bro, like it's just crazy. You're distracting, right? You don't have that energy for any of those people that be on your show that be talking about goddamn Biden, right? Whenever it's something about like, oh, he sat there and the whole like auto pen thing, like he just sit there, or like the economy stuff, like, oh, well, Joe Biden was. It's like, bruv, like, oh my God, stop it, just stop it. Like distracting is a far cry for for bringing up the fact that as it relates to cancer, cancer research has been dropped out. I think that's actually fairly related to people that might actually have a concern about catching or discovering cancer themselves versus something like, I can't even think of an excuse that some people would even say, like, oh yeah, Trump was what's the word I'm looking for? Or, bro, I can't even think of an example, of a legitimate example underneath for like what Biden could have possibly had said about Trump when it came to like any issues discussed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like inflation. Well, this is all of Joe Biden's fault. It's just like, bruv, like I can't think of the examples right now, but I know they're there. They're there in my mind. I'm just like freezing right now on what would be the best way to convey it. So let's just listen a little bit more and see if I can collect my thoughts here.
Theories. I love talking about the reality behind conspiracy theories. Often conspiracy theories, as we've discovered in the last few years, turn out to be correct. So I'm prepared to give everything a fair hearing. Well, they sometimes they do, right? Some conspiracy theories turn out to be true. And then the people who call them conspiracy theories sound like idiots. I don't like promoting wild, nonsensical conspiracy theories. I don't think it's a conspiracy theory to have expected a president of the United States in his 70s to have had a basic test that all men over the age of about 55 are encouraged to have on a regular basis. I don't believe them. And I think that encouraged.
I thought he was going to say recommended. Encouraged, okay? Well, didn't he... You know what's so crazy? Hold on, didn't they just say just a couple of minutes ago that he was purposely not taking the test because he didn't want it to be brought up or nothing? Like, isn't that... So obviously it doesn't matter if it's recommended or not. He chose not to have it. So therefore, like, but the medical doctor needs to lose his license. Like, oh my God, bruv, like, stop it.
That is enough. And if it turns out to be,
you might agree with me on this.
Go on.
You actually might agree with me on this. So here, let me just finish. Joe Biden is a very old man. Breaking news. He's 82 years old. I agree with you that Joe Biden should not have run or even announced that he was running for president, right? He was supposed to be a one-term president. I believe Joe Biden did immense damage to the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris by announcing at a very late stage that he wouldn't run, and he was pressured not to run. I think he made a huge mistake. He's 82 years old. Now, I'm all for fair and balanced. And I don't know, I'm going to take my Republican counterparts, my MAGA counterparts out there at their word right now. Let's have fair and balance. I'm all here. Let's release all the public records. Let's release all the health records of President Biden, who is not president. Also, let's also Focus on the man who's currently president, Donald Trump. He's the oldest person to ever be elected president. He's about to turn 79 years old. I want the health records of Joe Biden. I also want the health records of Donald Trump. Specifically, I want the records of his failed assassination attempt. You know, the bullet that grazed the ear. That is very traumatic for anybody, especially a 78-year-old man. Release all the health records. Number one. Number two.
Wow, you're sounding like a mad. Sorry, Vijaya. You are sounding
50-50.
with respect. You are beginning to sound like a mad conspiracy theorist. Dry skin, deeper wrinkles, and crepiness are just a few of the visible signs of aging. Also, I'm told. Fortunately, today's show is sponsored by One Skin. Their top.
These may look like dentures or partials, but in fact, it's some of the newest dental implant technology.
Stop it.
Wait, no. I want the release of records.
What do you think? You don't think he was shot in the ear? You don't believe that? What are you getting at?
I agree he was
shot
in the ear.
What mad conspiracy are you?
I agree he was shot in the ear. We do not have the health records. Those health records were not made public. I agree with shot in the ear. I was on your show. He was shot. He survived. Release the public health records of Donald Trump. Release the public health records of Joe Biden. I'll remind everyone. The oldest man to be elected as president right now, Donald Trump. Hold. Who did I say was cover up? I'm saying, let's be honest. I'm taking you at your word.
I was trying to establish. Are you saying
people
that
need to have
you are
public
agreeing with your
transparency?
American
People do not
Joe
trust.
Biden's ill health?
People do not trust the establishment. People do not trust the Democratic establishment. People do not trust the Republican establishment. I want Americans to be informed. I agree with you. Joe Biden is a very old man. He's 82 years old. I agree with you. He should not run again. I agree with you that the Democratic establishment probably hit his decline. We saw it in real time. But what I'm also seeing right now is unfair and unbalanced coverage. Because President Biden ain't president. Donald Trump is president. 78 years old.
This guy doesn't even believe the
never been on a
nonsense that he's
bike.
saying.
Talks about groceries like he invented the word. He's brought it back.
You're steaming off. You're going off on you're very good at distracting. You're very good at distracting. But let me bring in.
Donald Trump has fallen asleep 3 times publicly in the past 3
Donald
weeks.
Trump,
He's 79 years old.
Donald Trump has the energy, as everybody knows, whether you love him or hate him, he's got the energy of a 30-year-old. Right? So let's just not go down.
Tell him to ride a bike.
Joe Biden,
Tell him to ride a bike.
Joe Biden was basically a
rode a
walking
bike last
zombie.
week. Tell him to ride a bike.
All right, let me bring in Dave Rubin.
Tell Donald Trump to ride a bike.
All right, I'll give you a good hearing. Dave Rubin, I think the point here, Dave, isn't it? It's just about the fact that there is a general belief, fueled by the Jake Tapper, Alex Thompson book that's coming out now, which many people look at them and say, well, you should have blown the whistle before. They kind of admit that. Both of them have admitted that, so I think credit to them for doing that. But what the book seems to reveal is what many of us said very publicly many times. Joe Biden was unfit to be president of the United States, cognitively, physically, any other way you care to strip it. That matters. And the reason the cancer story now matters is if it turns out that they knew he had prostate cancer, which was metastasized, we don't know when. And, to your point, Vijay, I'm very glad that your daughter's okay. And I understand sometimes cancer comes on very, very fast. But she is not the president of the United States. When you're president of the United States, Dave, you get incredible medical treatment. And you get tested for just about everything all the time, precisely to ensure that you are fit and able to run the country. So I just cannot believe that a man who was president of the United States in his 70s did not have another PSA test after 2014 for one of the most prevalent cancers that affects elderly men. I just don't buy it. And if they're lying about it, then a lie was perpetrated on the American people, which is, I think, pretty serious.
Of course. First off, Piers, I want to say it's good to see you. I know we've been hitting each other a little bit on Twitter lately, but it's always fun to be on the show. As long as we're doing medical diagnoses here, I think we just saw a prime example of a symptom of Trump derangement syndrome. When someone is asked a question about what's wrong with Joe Biden's cognitive ability and now his metastatic cancer, we start talking about Donald Trump. So there.
Oh my God. Think about it. I am going to make the Biden derangement syndrome. Every time we're talking about something Trump related and they can't go out of they have to go out of their way to bring a Biden derangement syndrome. That's going to be the new word. I gotcha.
That's one issue. As to everything else you said, Noel's absolutely hit it on the head. There is an unbelievable layer of conspiracies here because either we are to believe that Joe Biden, the president of the United States, the 82-year-old president, former president of the United States, that his doctor was completely incompetent at every level, meaning he didn't catch what is now very, very advanced, very easy to catch prostate cancer. As you said, you're 60 years old. You've had these PSA tests. I checked on Grok this morning. Grok recommends that men usually at about 45 years old. And that's what ChatGPT says as well. And you can talk to virtually any doctor that says that. See, this is the kind of obfuscation that you guys do with everything. We all know that men somewhere in their 40s and 50s, we all know that men in their 40s and 50s should be getting this test annually. So either his doctor was completely negligent and hid that, but it's not just that, because he was also either completely negligent or a buffoon or a criminal when it came to what was going on with Joe Biden cognitively. Why is it, Piers? I'm not from the future. I don't have a DeLorean or a flux capacitor or anything else. Why is it that in 2019 I was doing videos, you can find them online, of Joe Biden's cognitive ability? It's because everyone could see it right in front of our face and they told us not to see. So there's multiple layers of conspiracy here. And as it pertains to Jake Tapper, and Alex Thompson is the guy that I guess co-wrote the book, and the poor guy, he's going into all these interviews with Jake and he's just like, ooh, I hope they don't ask me a question. It's embarrassing because the scandal is not just that doctor. She's a doctor, right?
There's so much I won't even say, but I was Brav, is your complaint basically that's just because people were trying to protect their guy, whatever. Same shit that you do with Trump, right? Whenever Trump makes like these stupid ass decisions, then you sit there and you just go crazy, be like, oh well, it's the art of the business deal and all this other shit. Even though like there's no data or nothing to prove that what he's doing actually even makes sense and all of the harm that it's causing, but you're giving it the benefit of blah blah blah, right? You don't think like these other people were doing the same thing? No, it has to be some kind of conspiracy. Like this is it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. Like it's such a waste of I get it now. It's just such a waste of time to even like argue with these people. You gotta what I'm realizing now is that you just have to just talk to other people. You don't ever talk to these mouthpiece. These are mouthpiece people, right? You don't ever talk to these people because like they're paid. They are paid to push these points that just don't have any like actual semblance to like to the factual rules that we have to abide by. So you just need to just talk to other people and just be like, hey, like, I understand that people were sitting there trying to like sit there say that Biden was fit. I don't know if I go as far as to say that they were sitting there covering it up and it's some kind of conspiracy, because I mean at the end of the day, I don't know how many people would have access to his medical records, right? And then as far as you could tell, I mean, like, sure, he's old and he's just like doing stuff that the typical old people do, but there's nothing to sit there and make me question that, oh yeah, he's not like fit to do whatever it is he gotta do. It's just like stuff like that. That's just, oh, Jesus Christ, bro. I can't believe I don't. That means, hold on. That means I gotta go like this. See, this is why I hate having to do. Oh, cool. Cool. Right. So, yep. Go ahead and cover the the other path that I already had. Damn, bro. I gotta reset all this now. See. That's why I hate. Oh God, bro. This is why I hate. Sorry, more my industry stuff. Ignore me. I am dealing with, bro. Why is touch? Touch. I understand why I like the mouse is like more preferred. I used to use the mouse a lot on my other streams, but I just I got tired, bro. Of just trying to use the mouse. I might, when I get my new phone, I might pick back up using my mouse whenever I'm playing the my industry game. But until then. It's just like I like the touch so much more. The touch is just so much easier. Okay, yeah, I don't want to do that. Let me. You're right. I should probably go here. Go like this. I guess I could just go straight like that, right? And didn't mean to go that far, but boom. Okay, cool. All right, so now it's set. Yep, that looks good to me. Looking good to me. And in fact, I am going to want to let me kill one side real quick. Yeah, there we go. Just so we can get that going. All right, let's continue.
Right, Dr. Jill Biden and the insiders were hiding this. And what did Biden even know what he had or anything else? The scandal is that the media ran in cahoots with the Democrat machine or the Biden machine or whatever you want to call it. So there's multiple layers of a medical scandal because there's more than one issues there, but there's multiple layers of, I would say, a cultural scandal, which pertains to how the White House released information and how the media used that information or hid that information.
I agree. David, were those the videos that Russia paid you to make, or was that your?
All right, let's leave that.
Okay, let me do this because you do this every time I'm on the show. You do know that the Department of Justice closed the case, and you do know that I'm talking about it right now, so that has nothing to do with me. But
I would add a third. Do you know? I don't give a fuck. So let's just move back to the debate. Destiny.
So you weren't paid by Russia. Okay.
Look, if you want to ask him on your own show and ask him those questions again and again, go and do it on your own show, would you? Let me bring in Destiny. Destiny, I do think this matters. Do you?
I'm going to be honest. I haven't followed the news recently, and I lose track of this sometimes. Right now, who's the president? Is it Trump or is it Biden? Because every single day I turn the news on, Trump is talking about Biden, the conservatives are talking about Biden, everybody's talking about Biden. It feels like that is the only thing that these people can ever talk about. They're trying to take away attention from Trump's disastrous econ policy, from the utter failures that he's running into over and over and over again with all of the courts, with the insane arguments that they're putting in front of the Supreme Court, trying to get rid of things like birthright citizenship. But for some reason, we're talking about Biden again. Also, it's no surprise that conservatives are once again, there is no scandal. There is no evidence of any scandal whatsoever. It's just more conservatives saying again that they know nothing about medicine.
There's no evidence of scandal. The man was not competent to be president of the United States.
You say the man wasn't competent to be president. I'm curious, can you show me a single time when Joe Biden sat down and had EOs brought to him and explained to him that he'd never seen before, like we see Trump sign on an almost daily basis. One example.
Well, they didn't bring them to Joe Biden because an auto
Exactly. You have no examples of that. No, you have no examples. Donald Trump is worse. Donald Trump is worse. That's great, but you can see videos of Biden explaining. Hold on, let me finish my answer. For all of these people that are so concerned about Biden's health, everybody got so offended when Elon Musk was asked about his ketamine abuse. So they said we had no right into the minds, the drug use, or the medical records of people that might be involved in major parts of the government. That he was involved in dismantling huge parts of the government. He was the president's right-hand man. Just right there, we just heard another pivot, another abdication of responsibility. The reality is conservatives know nothing about medicine. All of you guys on here are saying it's totally common to test for prostate cancer.
That's true.
It's not. Past 70 is not recommended. Believe it or not, and I know in the movies and in the TV shows, it seems like you can test for every single thing at every point in time. You can't test for every single thing at every point in time. You don't do that because you get a lot of false positives.
How long does that PSA test take you? When you do that PSA test annually, how long does that take you? Is that a big problem?
It literally takes 3 minutes.
Over the age of 70, you do not test men for prostate cancer. It's just not recommended. You can't test for
It is if you're the president of the United States and you've already had a test in 2014.
Oh, is that true? Is that true? Hold on. That changes everything. I would have thought you would have just kept testing until like you eventually find it. But I guess now that I say that out loud, maybe that probably isn't the case, I guess, maybe. But is that true that once you hit, let me see if Destiny's cap in here. I seriously doubt that's the cap. Destiny's usually like 99.9% right at all points in time about this kind of stuff. But let me think about this, right? So not recommended cancer testing past, I might have to ask ChatGPT about this, past the age of 70. While cancer screening is generally recommended, they are age-related considerations for specific cancers. The U.S. Preventive Services Task recommends routine screening of adults age 55 to 75 for colorectal cancer and breast cancer screening through the age 74. For prostate cancer, if performed at all, screening should stop at 60. Oh my God. Not be screened. And how old is Joe Biden? Holy shit, bruv. First off, that kind of sucks that you don't get recommended for cancer screening, but Joe Biden age 82 years old. So he's 82 years old. 82 years old. The pros and cons of PSA tests for prostate cancer for midlife and older men. I didn't even think that. I thought that like once you hit the age, I honestly thought that once you hit the age of where like it's recommended you need to be screened for stuff, that was indefinite. That you just from this point on you need to be screened if you got this type of cancer or whatnot. I did not know that there was actually a cutoff which is kind of crazy. I guess they're just like, yeah, like, even if you get it, bruv, like you're already old. So like, he's just gonna, just gonna peace out, bruv. You lived a good life. You know what I'm saying? So we just trying to make sure that, don't want to waste your time. Like, that's kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know that. I did not know that there was actually a cutoff. Isn't that wild? Y'all don't think that's crazy? That, that you could potentially catch something as you get old, and then at a certain point, once you get so old, they just don't care no more, and then you just like if you catch it, it's like, oh well, hopefully, hopefully it doesn't cause you too much pain. That's crazy. Damn, I did not know that. Let's read this article. So this is from NPR, right, and it's titled "The Pros and Cons of PSA Tests for Prostate Cancer for Midlife and Older Men." News that former President Joe Biden has advanced prostate cancer has revived long-standing questions about the benefits versus the harms of a blood test that screens for the most commonly diagnosed cancer among men in the U.S. Prostate-specific antigen, or PSA, screening tests are an imperfect tool for detecting prostate cancer, doctors and public health experts say. Part of the problem is identifying and treating aggressive cancers like Biden's, while not unnecessarily treating men with slow-growing cancers unlikely to sicken them. Autopsies, found the diseases to be so widespread that more than 1/3 of white men and half of black men in their 70s had prostate cancer that would never do any harm. I see. I did not know that. I didn't know you could have prostate cancer that just doesn't hurt you. Interesting. PSA testing alone leaves a lot to be desired as a cancer screening test, said radiation oncologist, Dr. Whoever, this person is, right? The blah blah blah. The test measures the level of PSA, a protein produced by normal as well as malignant prostate gland cells in the blood. Elevated PSA can be a marker for cancer. It also can signal false positive or an inactive cancer, triggering a painful biopsy and leading to overtreatment with punishing side effects, including impotency, incontinence, and bowel dysfunction. So like if it was okay, now I understand, because if it was just impotency, right, then it's like, I mean, like Brev is like 70 plus years old. I don't, maybe he probably shouldn't be in the business of trying to make more kids, but I mean, I get it. You keep it going. But if it says incontinence and bowel dysfunctions from just like doing an autopsy, then I understand and I get it. Sure. I didn't know that there was all those kind of risks of like having to do a biopsy, because like if there's a risk of a false positive, obviously a false positive for cancer is a huge problem, because like you could do a lot of damage trying to trying to treat a false positive, trying to take any action on a false positive cancer screening. So okay, so that makes sense. And then like all of these like negative side effects and whatnot, it's like of just like even treatment, like even let's say if you even had cancer, like you can still like have all these other problems and stuff. It just shows that how damning a false positive especially could be. So okay, let's continue. The PSA screening is beneficial, Rose said. There are risks though, and so it is a personal decision. It is a personal decision. So Joe Biden would have decided not to have the screening test. I'm sorry. He, like any other guy, would. That's a matter of fact, bro. You know what I would ask? When's the last time Donald Trump has been screened for prostate cancer? And I'll give it to him, right? I'll give it to him that he can, he can sit there and say that they were covering up Biden's health decline, if he can prove that he had it recently. Like when he became president, he recently had his prostate checked for cancer. I would love to see it, because now, as I recall correctly, he's 78 or 79, about to be 79, right? So he's like around 78. So he is past the age of where it's recommended anymore. And nobody's going to like sit there and want to have a test done that they don't think there's tests done that they just out the blue, like, hey, you mind scanning me for prostate cancer? Like, there's a lot of cancers I can sit there and scan myself for. It's just and there's no machine that sits there and is just universal, that just scans for everything. I seriously doubt that the machine that detects breast cancer is the exact same that detects prostate cancer, because those are completely different antigens, right? I'm sure it's like a much different process to detect the two, if they haven't made a universal cancer detect, which I seriously doubt that they made a universal cancer detecting machine. So all of this makes sense so far. Okay, see what I'm talking about? People hype up like the most craziest stuff, and then when you sit there, you research or you read this stuff, it's like, oh, this makes sense. I get it. And they sit there and say, oh, well, president say, because in Piers Morgan's mind, you being president of the United States, bruv, they take your blood, they're checking for every single possible thing on the sun, because that one vial of blood, right, is enough to push through every single hundreds of different types of machines needed to detect every single possible problem you can have. Okay, that includes radiation and chemical warfare poisoning. Okay, it's that a regular White House doctor is going to sit there and have access. It's whatever, bro. Okay, it's whatever. Okay, so let me see where we're at here. Okay, the key, continuing the article, right? The key is to target and treat aggressive cancers while waiting. Excuse me. The key is to target and treat aggressive cancers while waiting and watching cancers that might never become troublesome. Rose and other oncologists told NPR physicians have been walking this tightrope since they began regularly using PSA tests to screen for prostate cancer in healthy men in the 1990s. There is no other test that effectively screens for prostate cancer. There is no other test. So the only test that's available is a test that is optional once you hit a certain age. Okay, now it makes perfect sense why this would just pop out of nowhere all of a sudden. Like, bruv, like this, come on, get out of here. Just sit there and say this is some kind of conspiracy and stuff, but you can just sit there, you can just like just read and figure out like how these things work, and then just it all makes sense. You know, like crazy. All right. There is no other test that effectively screens for prostate cancer, the second deadliest cancer for American men, oncologist said. A history of conflicting guidance. Attempts to balance the possible harms against the number of lies say it had led to 2 decades of fluctuating and confusing public health guidelines on PSA screening. In 2012, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force advised against any screening, only to issue a watered-down recommendation in 2018 that men ages 55 to 69 discuss. This is discussed, not even required or have to. Discuss screening with their healthcare providers. Various physician groups offer conflicting guidance for this age group. It is advised for older men, however, the U.S. Preventative Task Force has been somewhat more consistent. In 2008, the independent panel of national experts, why are they writing it like this? It's just jumped over all over, right? The independent panel of national experts recommended men 75 and older not be screened. And since 2018, the panel has advised. So in 2018, the panel has advised against screening men 70 and older. Finding this out, bro, Trump could prove that there's a conspiracy if I was to say, even though this could be completely unrelated, and it could just be a circumstance of somebody that's just caring about their health, all that good stuff, right? If he could show right now that he's been tested since he turned the age of 70, then I would give it to him. I would give it to him. If he can't show or prove that he was tested for prostate cancer, I don't want to hear none of this. I don't want to hear none of this. This is so stupid. I mean, I'm serious. This is so stupid. Oh wait. Let me see what's this person's name here is. DOJ. I don't know why you're not popping up on the things that I normally look at for messages. So, oh, my phone unlocked. Yeah. Hold on. Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with my chats there? Surely you had that sent. Obviously you had that sent the message earlier. Can you talk about the Jews? That is what the Truth of the World person messaged me about. Okay, here's the other guy. Dix of the DOJ, right? That is his name. Hey friend, I saw your channel. Notice post a great time. You need more followers and views. Okay, so this is bot-like activity on Kick. Cool. Can you talk about the Jews? The Truth of the World. Talking about the Jews. I don't know like what's there to talk about. Like, you know, the Jews are about to sit there and like handle stuff over there in Palestine, since that was probably their goal, that, you know, the whole time. It was just to take as much land and have whatever and maximize whatever excuse they can to do it. So I don't know. I don't know what you want me to talk about with regards to the Jews. But why did it not come up? You see, this is the thing that's like killing me. I don't understand why. So I have a thing here that's I have a thing here that is supposed to show me these messages, and yet it doesn't. It acts like it can't do any of these. So hold on. Let me pause this sync thing for like 2 hours real quick. Okay, cool. Now let's open this back up. I don't know why these messages, you know, that's the thing that's like always like the that's the thing that's always like the tough part about this. It's just like I can never tell if this like texting is actually working the way it's supposed to work. Because if it's not working, I won't know until like I realize that I'm missing messages, which is why I have like two other things that like sit there and like help me understand, excuse me, if there is an issue. but it depends on me just paying attention and being able to catch it. So there's no way that looks like that. Hold on. We're about to pull up the chat thing real quick. Hold on. What do I want? I want to take. Let me black the screen out real quick because I need to see. There is no way. Are the words really like that bad? Let me black the screen out real quick because I need to see. Oh, stop it. There is no way. Sorry. I didn't know. I forgot it was connected. I guess. I mean, what would I do? Would I just put it at like 250? I could probably put the thing at like 250. Let me see something. Let me set the thing to 250. I want you guys to be able to actually see what I'm looking at, you know? Okay. Hopefully that's better. It looks a little better. I can see it being a little bit better for you guys. Yeah. Looks a little bit better to me, I guess. All right. So, all right. Now let's get back to reading the article. All right. So let's see. Where did I leave off at? PSA testimonies, lots of the desired history. Okay, here we go. Yeah, advise the older man. Okay, yeah. So this is where we left off at. Okay. Biden 82 apparently followed the guidance. He last had a PSA screening test in 2014 when he was 71 or 72 years old. For men between the ages of 55 and 69, the task force recommends talking to the healthcare providers about their preferences before deciding whether to get a PSA test. It classifies the recommendation as grade C, which means it offers only a small benefit and insurers may not cover it. Insurers may not cover it. Welcome to the American healthcare system. Insurers may not cover you screening for a cancer that you are probably likely, you probably have a high likelihood of eventually getting at some point in your life. Sorry. I mean, that's just what it is. That's why, like, I can't, I can't do this. I cannot do this. Okay. Finding the time to have a conversation about a topic as complicated as the value of prostate cancer screening can be challenging for most primary care physicians. Oncologists interviewed for this story said, and while some men might welcome what's called shared decision-making, others find it agonizing. Still, the only advice for men for now is to talk the issue over carefully with their doctors. The case for, okay, so then they're going to talk about like the other shit. But I don't even need to go further in this article because I already have my answer. Like, okay, now the whole, so it's nothing abnormal. There's no conspiracy. There's no conspiracy. It's a medical recommendation that once you get past 70 years old, right, that you know, it becomes an optional screening. Okay, and now he realizes at the age of past 80, he has stage 4 cancer, which would have resulted from being able to be developed after his last screening at the age of 72. Like, I'm sorry, like, that's just... Okay, let's finish up this this video.
Human conditions? No, of course not. You can't test for every single disease at every single point of your life. Unfortunately, you just can't do that.
Okay, Michael, let me bring you back in here. I think, look, it's the conversation's been very revealing. Majah had on massive extraction technique, and Destiny basically saying old people shouldn't have tests that might save their life.
Just to be clear,
interesting argument.
When do you test for prostate cancer? You don't test every single. You can Google it right now. Put it on the program. Everybody type it in.
PSA test literally takes 10 seconds. You literally have a blood test.
Are you arguing they shouldn't have tested?
It's a blood test. I bet the President of the United States probably has a weekly blood test. Probably.
What do you think a blood test?
I'm not going to say that. No, let's continue.
Test is. You think you can test for every single possible thing in your blood?
That's what I was just saying earlier, bro. Like they act like you take a vial of blood and you can use that same amount of blood, that same vial, and you gonna run it through all kinds of stuff to sit there and test for every single thing. That's not real. That's not a real thing. They have to stop doing that. Like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, oh God, bro. See, I knew it. I knew this, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why you don't argue with these people. No, you come on these shows to argue with them. Don't get me wrong, right? You still come on these shows, but don't talk to them like you're going to convince them or whatever, right? Unless you know for sure that you're going to catch them with with an obvious, like, yeah, like obviously you're retarded, because clearly, like, you're not, it's not recommended that we test the past 70, and he last had a test at 72, so he obviously went above and beyond. And then, since he hasn't been tested anymore, this is what could happen, right? Instead, you talk to the audience, you talk to the people that's watching them, and he says, hey, I can tell you right now, if you want to shut down any Democrat that sits there and say that they were hiding it, you know what you should do? I want you to go look up. This is what you tell the audience. Go look up. When do you what's the time frame you recommend people get tested for prostate cancer? What's the recommended age group? Okay. And then these people go look it up themselves, and you know what they find out? I didn't know that after 70 years old, you get recommended not to get tested for it anymore.
It's easy to test the PSA. Your PSA literally is one thing. It's easy. If you're struggling with sleepless nights and exhausting days, you might want to try B. Anyway, look, I want to move on from this to James Comey talking of wild conspiracy theories. Because call me bonkers, Michael Knowles. I don't mind what you call me. But the idea that a man who was the director of the FBI, the top lawman in America, was wandering along a beach and saw some seashells with the numbers 8647. And he had absolutely no idea before putting it on his Instagram that this might be interpreted as meaning a desire to kill President Trump. Here's his...
Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about like extra heightening. Like, I'm sorry. The man is casually running across the beach and he sees shells arranged in some numbers, okay? Didn't he post it on his Instagram or whatever social media he used? Because I remember like coming across the article where he says, "Oh yeah, I guess it was like some political message or whatever." So then he deleted it. Like, I'm sorry, but the idea that when you become director or head of like investigative body for the U.S. government, that under every and all circumstances you're gonna know every single I was gonna say innuendo, I don't know why, but every single like political secret cryptic message that could be posted and everything, and it might not just be some people that just sit there and just it was just arranging some stuff to just make up some numbers. Like, to me it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, right? And the fact that he said that he acknowledged it and then took the post down, right? Because at the end of the day, saying that I don't even know. I'm trying to think. When it comes to free speech, can you let's Google it. I'm curious. Does free speech does the First Amendment protect from asking for the death of someone? Death. I spelled that wrong. And implications. True threats are not protected, right? So true threats. I'm trying to think like true threats, right? Because true threats are like those that are like tangible, that are going to be acted on or facilitated, right? So, like, for example, like if the head of I'm trying to think, like if the head of the Proud Boys was giving a speech to his people, and he was like we need to kill the such and such person, like whoever it is, right? Obviously that he's going to get the business, right? He's the leader of the faction, or leader of that group. He has the power to direct people, and he is giving what can be interpreted clearly as an order or a guidance to his people to carry out an illegal act. I would sit there and say that would be considered a true threat. But sitting there and saying something like, "Oh, like such and such person just needs to die," I would actually argue that would probably be free speech. That's probably protected under free speech. So is it illegal to announce in a public barely wishing for so much death is not, well, I mean, this is Reddit, so it is what it is. But in my mind, what I was just explaining earlier is that like it would be protected free speech. I'm sorry, like, yeah, it's shitty and it's crappy or whatever, but Like there's a difference. Can you talk about? I just saw it just pop back up. Is the guy? Is he back? Is he back? There's no way he's back. Is the man back? Okay. I thought my guy that wanted me to talk about the Jews is back. I was like, huh. I saw it just pop up randomly. I don't know if that was just like a quirk or a bug or whatever. But anyway, getting back to it, right? If you know, like protective free speech, you know, allows people to just do that. Like, you know, it sucks. Just like the lady that sat there and called the child, you know, called a child the N-word, or, you know, clearly being racist or whatever. Like at the end of the day, like you know, it is free speech. You know, you have the right to interpret her as a person however you want to, but at the end of the day, she's able to use those words and use it against those people, assuming that obviously is in the US. So, and ain't it crazy that she got $500,000 in donations? It tells you a lot about the you know, people in the US. But you know, it is what it is. I ain't gonna go there. Let's continue, because as a black guy, you know, it's whatever. I don't even care anymore.
Explanation on MSNBC.
Was there anything in the back of your mind that said, maybe I just shouldn't post this?
Yeah, no, literally nothing, because it seemed entirely innocent and clever to me. I have never, and actually still don't associate 86 with violence, but because I heard that some folks were, whether they do that reasonably or not, I don't want any part of it, and so that's why I took it down from my Instagram.
This is horseshit, Michael.
Isn't that crazy? Oh, this is horseshit? Like, stop it. Stop it. You know what? I'm not even going to engage with Pierce anymore, because clearly, like, he's just pandering. This is actually signs of pandering. Like, you can sit there and you can make all these excuses or stuff for when, you know, Donald Trump is sitting there and wrecking the world economy for terrorists that he shouldn't even have the power to do as a single soul man. But, you know, sitting there like somebody, you know, taking pictures of some seashells arranged a certain way on a beach, and you can't give it a benefit of the doubt. Stop it. All right. You know, it's whatever. I don't care.
He's just lying. He's lying.
Look, I want to be as fair and charitable as I can. James Comey is a huge weirdo with artistic pretensions. Do you remember when the Robert Mueller investigation came out? James Comey took this bizarre photo of himself in the woods looking at this guy. So I don't want to understate the chance that he's just a weirdo. However, you have to take the context here in. If he says, well, 86, you know, to get rid of somebody, that doesn't imply violence. Okay, maybe he's just kind of ignorant and obtuse, but within the context of President Trump, who was nearly murdered twice, one time with a bullet hitting his ear, coming within a 20th of an inch of blowing his brains out on stage, when you have the entire Democratic Party.
Why use mill when I have a curbside compost bin? Mill and this lovely bin are a match made in heaven.
Sorry, that's an advertisement. And let's just remember, the first person that came the closest to assassinating the president was a registered Republican. Just keep that in mind.
Who predicated his presidential campaign on the notion that Donald Trump posed an existential threat to the country, that is to say, justifies his assassination. Within that context, Comey had to know. Either Comey is the dumbest person on earth, or he knew what he was doing. And I want to be charitable. I think he kind of.
I don't want to be charitable. Somebody be giant. This is bullshit, and you know it is, don't you? Come on, just a minute.
So, if MAGA does believe that James Comey was intentional in posting that an 86 means kill, then like I said in your last answer, I want everything.
You know what I'm gonna assume he's gonna do? He's gonna bring up all the other parts, because this is the other guy who's getting ready to speak. He's gonna bring up all the other parts where Donald Trump had made statements like, oh, you know, somebody, you know, people who believe in the Second Amendment should do something about Hillary Clinton, right? I'm sure we haven't forgotten about that statement. He's gonna bring up examples like that. Watch.
Everything to be fair and balanced. I'm trying to bring people together. Like you said in the last one, release every single information about Joe Biden's public health.
Do you believe James Comey when he says, do you believe him when he Instagrammed a picture of 8647 for the former FBI director? I have no idea what that meant.
You're going to like my answer. I'm fair and balanced here. If you truly believe, and if my co-panelists here, my MAGA co-panelists believe that James Comey intended, that 86 meant to kill Joe Biden, and you want to investigate him, I say fine. But then you also have to investigate Jack Posobiec. Oh, you know, the MAGA dude who literally sold merchandise while Joe Biden was president.
Stop the distraction.
Wait a second.
Focus on the stories.
If you think 86 means to kill, then you have to prosecute Jack Posobiec, who was making money off of merchandise that's at 86.46 while Joe Biden was president. Then you have to also investigate Matt Gaetz.
Ooh, see that? 86.46, 86.47, 86.46. You see, people be trying to have it both ways and they can't. Like, sit there and I have zero idea about what the example he's given, but if it's true, and once again, you see, you can't make this shit up, bro. You just can't make this up, right? It's always like they complain about something that they were sitting there and doing it, what it was really rampant on their side. And this is why I just hate the current Republican Party the way it is, bro. Why does my stomach look like it's just like big guy. You know what? We're gonna warm up some food relatively soon too. So I'm gonna be right back. Now that I think about it. So let's I am hungry. I sat there as I sit there and like talk about like how like why my stomach was looking like it's big for. It's like, can I even make it? It's hard to like actually like push it out. I was trying to push it out, but yeah, like oh man, I don't even want to even entertain this, because if somebody sat there and said 86-46, then you know what, it's whatever. Like I don't care. Like I said, like a lot of this stuff, I sit there and I refuse to even entertain, because it's always the same exact thing. It's always the same thing that they complain about something, right? And then I go and find out that somebody on their side did the exact same thing. That's always the case. It's always the case. That's always what happens. And it makes me so upset. It does. It really makes me so upset to sit there and like have to see it over and over and over again. Like over and over again, where somebody does something that's like so damning or whatever, and then I'm seeing that it's the same thing. It's the same exact behavior. People, who believe in the Second Amendment should do something about Hillary Clinton, or they're skinning children alive under the pizzeria, which then like motivated the guy to with a rifle to come to that pizzeria and try to do something about it. Like, so all these things, the violence, like that people just sit there and that, people on the other side sit there and do and perpetuate, or, incinerate, right? Whatever the word is, to sit there and evoke people to like, as a cause of action. That's what always happened. All right. So I will be, excuse me. I will be right back. And we're back. Okay. You probably kind of. Oh, actually, you can see it pretty well. I have the rice because. Oh, bastards, bro. Damn. You can tell I'm messed up, huh? But what was the order for? See, it threw me off. You can see it. I had it in a plastic bowl, which is why you only see the rice, because I flipped it onto a plate, which is actually going to have me talk about microplastics, guys. Plastics is not a natural human occurring object in our world. So, let me rephrase that. Plastic is not a natural resource in the human world. Therefore, microplastics should be looked at very concerningly, especially since microplastics can get into your bloodstream, get into your blood cells, all that good stuff, right? So, I keep my food contained in plastic. I am going to eventually, once I have the funds to, migrate to all glass as much as I can. Glass containers or whatever, right? But, for the time being, plastic containers, I sit there, instead of warming up my food in a plastic container, which is a big no-no, you shouldn't do that. You really shouldn't do that. I put them on a plate or something, and then I warm it up on the plate, okay? So that's what I mean. So that's why you can't see it, but I had cooked this. I forgot what it's even called, so maybe I'll give you the name another day if I recall the even care. But with that being said, I'm going to eat, finish the video, talk or whatever, and in fact, we're even going to kill this game here, because we're going to transition. We're going to play a different game. I am going to whip out the PlayStation. So I'll whip out the PlayStation afterwards. First and foremost, was I building anything? I see the word cancel. And cancel only comes up if I was like in the midst of building stuff. It doesn't look like it. As a matter of fact, actually, I think it was over here. Okay, I guess not. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, well, then it is what it is. So let me just save and quit. Okay, cool. Right, you know what I'm saying? So. All right, let me close this out here. So yeah, we're gonna transition to the PlayStation. We'll play a PlayStation game, for the time being, but we'll let the video play however it's gonna be. We're probably not gonna finish this video all the way through, and then we'll just move on to PlayStation stuff, because I am gonna go to sleep relatively soon. I still have to get up for work in the morning, bruv. I still gotta get up like 7 in the morning. So, and it is what it is. But let's finish this up now.
Matt Gaetz, let me finish. Matt Gaetz said 86, not Democrats. Matt Gaetz said 86 Republicans, including Mitch McConnell, right? So, and Kevin Johnson. So, maybe if you want to prosecute James Comey, I'm being fair. If you want to prosecute James Comey, you got to prosecute Jack Posobiec.
But once again, Majority, I'm not answering my simple question. Do you believe Comey or not? Yes or no?
I do not believe that James Comey and the overwhelming majority of people who like that thought that it meant killing Donald Trump. The person who tried to kill Donald Trump was a Republican, a Trump supporter, a gun nut. It means 86. If anyone's worked in restaurants or is a waiter, 86 means to cancel an order. So if you believe 86 means to kill, then you got to prosecute Jack Posobiec.
The reason that's not a comparison is because we're not saying in all contexts 86 always means you want to murder somebody. We're saying that in the context of Donald Trump,
you guys are getting desperate. You guys are getting desperate. Donald Trump is underwater, Michael and David. You guys
keep bringing up that they tried to kill Donald Trump twice. You know what else happened twice? He got impeached twice as well. So maybe 86 could be the third impeachment attempt.
As a clinical nutritionist, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite snacks to help me get through the day, which are these Paleo Valley meat sticks.
All right, Dave Rubin.
All right. Well, first off, I'm really amazed by Wajat's authenticity and honesty. It's really quite remarkable, and I'm sure nobody can see through it. It's
Russia didn't pay me.
Just me. The guy should have a pin over here. I tell the truth. It's really incredible. The other thing about 86, and I'm impressed. I doubt you ever worked in a restaurant. I did, and yes, it's true. If they don't have the porterhouse anymore, you 86 the porterhouse. That means you don't have it anymore. So the waiters know when they're going out there. But the other thing that the 86 came from was the 86th floor on the Empire State Building. And do you know what the 86th floor on the Empire State Building is? That's the observation floor, and that's where the mafia in the old days used to take guys that owed them some money and toss them off the roof of the Empire State Building. That is a fact. You can also check that on Grok or ChatGPT or whatever your favorite search engine is. Now, as to whether he meant literally when he was just wandering the beach and he magically sees these numbers and thought it was artistic and whatever else, as to whether he actually was trying, as the former FBI director, to instigate someone to kill Donald Trump, I can only leave that up to what is going on in his heart and in his soul. I suspect that's not the truth.
I'm realizing that my microphone is sitting there, and is it regurgitating everything that's being played back, so everything's being double audio fed? Great. So this video is like trashed out. Fan freaking tastic. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm just realizing as I was sitting there looking at my OBS trying to eat and relax. See, this is that BS, man. See, that's that BS. Hold on, guys. I am trying to... Man, that freeze is particularly bad. What's going on? Why was that freeze so bad? Jesus Christ, man. All right, give me my damn application. What's going on? Oh, God. Okay. No, direct, right? This direct monitor is not on. Okay. Oh, I can hear me. And that's cool. Oh, so it could feed me through for whatever. Okay, cool. That's just fine. But I need to combine 1 and 2, send direct to mix. Okay, so that's the setting. Okay. Let me turn off the direct monitor. So direct monitor is off. So that's nice. And then the send to loop. So let me play the video and then let me look at it because I'm pretty sure that's the setting.
I'm not somebody that wants to jail everybody for a bad joke or a stupid picture or anything else. So whether it was any of those people that you just mentioned that had done that previously, I'm not for jailing the guy for it, but I think we can call a spade and know that if the shoe was on the other foot, these people would be going absolutely crazy.
Okay. I don't know why why is my microphone sitting there picking up an audio that it cannot hear? I've been through this before. We've been through this before, okay? We have been through this before. There's no setting here. What's that? Okay. Inputs, right? Okay, let me sit there. I'm gonna have to mess around with it until I figure it out.
Crazy. Yeah. So I think this one is pretty clear.
No question. Okay,
maybe they should wear a MAGA hat. Maybe wear a MAGA hat and try to 86 the election and try to take out Mike Pence. You know, like the violent insurrectionist that Donald Trump pardoned and now has given $5 million.
I tell you what, if there was an Oscar ceremony for playing Whataboutery, you, my friend, are the Daniel Day-Lewis of the Whataboutery
All of this is a whataboutery. All of this is a whataboutery away from Donald Trump's presidency. Anything to discuss anything besides the multiple times he's referenced the Second Amendment, besides the time he tweeted out the video of the
let's talk about
Joe Biden in the back of the truck.
It's a TV show. They were doing a segment about what
there's always an excuse. There's always a reason.
Best supporting Whataboutery winner is you, Destiny. I want to talk about quickly about a conspiracy theory, and you're going to like this, Vajaya, because this involves conspiracy theory about Jeffrey Epstein and whether he did take his own.
Okay, so the last thing I'm just going to do real quick is I'm going to have to check the video as it's playing the scene because I don't understand. I don't understand why if you guys can see what I'm looking at, my microphone is pulling up. What's the microphone? My microphone is making it seem like it's picking up all the audio here, all the audio that's being played, and it can't hear it. All right, I have my headphones on, so like all the audio is coming through this. It's not like my microphone is picking it up. So I don't know, man. And I just warmed up my food, man. See, this is that BS, bro. This is that BS. Okay. So let me play it and see if it's double audio feeded. Let's see.
Two people you probably think lead the charge in conspiracy theory spreading investigated this and announced the following.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. A joke or a stupid picture or anything else. So whether it was any of those people that you just mentioned that had done that previously, I'm not for jailing the guy for it, but I think we can call a spade and know that if the shoe was on the other foot, these people would be going absolutely crazy. Yeah. So I think this one is pretty clear.
No question. Okay,
maybe they should wear a MAGA hat. Maybe wear a MAGA hat and try to 86 the election and try to take out Mike Pence. You know, like the violent insurrectionist that Donald Trump once worked in restaurants or as a waiter. 86 means to cancel an order. So if you believe 86 means to kill, then you got to prosecute Czechoslovakia.
The reason that's not a comparison is because we're not saying in all contexts 86 always means you want to murder somebody. We're saying that in the context of Donald Trump,
you guys are getting desperate.
Murdered twice.
You guys are getting desperate. Donald Trump is underwater, Michael and David. You guys are getting really desperate.
That they tried to kill Donald Trump twice. You know what else happened twice? He got impeached twice as well. So maybe 86 could be the third impeachment attempt.
All right, Dave Rubin.
All right. Well, first off, I'm really amazed by Wajat's authenticity and honesty. It's really quite remarkable, and I'm sure nobody can see through it.
Russia didn't pay me. Just me.
The guy should have a pin over here. I tell the truth. It's really incredible. The other thing about 86, and I'm impressed. I doubt you ever worked in a restaurant. I did, and yes, it's true. If they don't have the porterhouse anymore, the 86 the porterhouse, that means you don't have it anymore. So the waiters know when they're going out there. But the other thing that the 86 came from was the 86th floor on the Empire State Building. And do you know what the 86th floor on the Empire State Building is? That's the observation floor, and that's where the mafia in the old days used to take guys that owed them some money and toss them off the roof of the Empire State Building. That is a fact. You can also check that on Grok or ChatGPT or whatever your favorite search engine is. Now, as to whether he meant literally when he was just wandering the beach and he magically sees these numbers and thought it was artistic and whatever else, as to whether he actually was trying, as the former FBI director, to instigate someone to kill Donald Trump, I can only leave that up to what is going on in his heart and in his soul. I suspect that's not the truth. I also am not somebody that wants to jail everybody for a bad joke or a stupid picture or anything else. So whether it was any of those people that you just mentioned that had done that previously, I'm not for jailing the guy for it, but I think we can call a spade and know that if the shoe was on the other foot, these people would be going absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So I think this one is pretty clear.
No question. Okay,
maybe they should wear a MAGA hat. Maybe wear a MAGA hat and try to 86 the election and try to take out Mike Pence. You know, like the violent insurrectionist that Donald Trump pardoned and now has given $5 million.
I tell you what, if there was an Oscar ceremony for playing whataboutery, you, my friend, are the Daniel Day-Lewis of the whataboutery Oscars.
This is a whataboutery. All of this is a whataboutery away from Donald Trump's presidency. Anything to discuss anything besides the multiple times he's referenced the Second Amendment, but besides the time he tweeted out the video of the
let's talk about
Joe Biden in the back of the truck.
It's a TV show. They were doing a segment about what.
Okay. So it sounds like it's not duplicate. Sorry, I got my phone playing loud. It doesn't sound like it's duplicated or nothing, so we're good here. And let me actually take a second. You know what? I'm here, so now we're going to do it. Let me see if I can. Let me do 32. You know what? Now, what I'm going to do is I just made it like drop the gain down to -32 when I'm talking. So let's see if that works. So let me let the video play for like 2 seconds and I'm going to start talking.
Oh, yeah, there's always an excuse. There's always a reason.
Best supporting whataboutery winner is you, Destiny. I want to talk quickly about a conspiracy theory, and you're going to like this, Vajaya, because this involves conspiracy theory about Jeffrey Epstein and whether he did take his own life or not. Incredibly, and you might be startled by this, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, two people you probably think lead the charge in conspiracy theory spreading.
Okay, that's fine. So I won't talk about the videos, but like I said, that's one of the things I'm gonna like sit there adjust, but I just ain't gonna do it right now. But okay, so at least we figured that part out. I was concerned that there was like double audio feeding into the stream because for whatever reason on OBS, as the video is playing, I see both the desktop audio and the microphone showing that it's receiving feedback, which is crazy because I don't have speakers playing out the sound. So my microphone is not picking up anything. It's just my headphones. And my headphones are not that loud to where like I have to worry about, the sound blasting through my eardrums and making it to the microphone somehow. And it's not those I forgot the type of mics, but it's the mic where you have to have your voice directly on top of it because it's not meant to like pick up sound all around. So
investigated this and announced the following.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file.
Ready to refresh your space? RC Willey has you covered with incredible Memorial Day savings. Discover.
So, Vajaya, there we have a wide-ranging conspiracy theory quashed by Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, unequivocally. I presume you, as a man who abhors conspiracy theories, unless you're spreading them about assassination attempts, you would like to immediately applaud them for clearing this up.
All I got to say is good luck, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, because never go full conspiracy theorist. This is going to be MAGA eating its own tail. You know the people are really pissed off, Pierce? Not me, MAGA. Because MAGA wants the public records of the Epstein files. They were promised it. And now Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who promoted the conspiracy about the deep state, right, and pro-January 6th, now they are the deep state, head of the FBI and the deputy. And guess what? MAGA is pissed off. And the reason why, probably, they don't want to release these records is Jeffrey Epstein, according to his own words, you've heard the tapes, he said, who was his closest friend? Donald Trump. Who did he party with? Donald Trump. Who's on the flight logs?
Oh my God,
Donald
you're
Trump.
about to
There's
spread the
video
worst
of him
conspiracy
partying with
theory of them all.
Donald Trump.
Wow.
No, they're friends.
Wow. Well, John, are you suggesting Donald Trump killed Jeffrey Epstein? Is that what you're doing, having announced you hate conspiracy theories?
You said that.
Is that your position?
No, I think he killed himself. I think Dan and Kash Patel are actually honest. I think he killed himself. But MAGA's pissed off right now because MAGA was promised full release of the public files. Pam Bondi hasn't done it. Kash Patel hasn't done it. Dan Bongino hasn't done it. If you're paying attention to MAGA right now, they're divided right now, and they're going after Dan and Kash, and this is going to be a huge problem for MAGA. Not for the rest of us, not for the normies.
Hold on, I
but
thought I was
the normies. I wouldn't be quite so hasty with
I'm a representative of MAGA. Can we get in on this?
Yes.
I'm not going after Dan Cash. I don't know Cash personally. I know Dan pretty well, and I trust Dan. I don't think Dan would lie. You got to pay attention not only to what Dan and Cash said, but what they didn't say. They didn't say that Jeffrey Epstein's suicide was all on the up and up. They didn't say that Jeffrey Epstein didn't have connections to intelligence agencies. They didn't say that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't permitted to kill himself. The fact that you had malfunctions of multiple security cameras and multiple guards not showing up. They didn't say that Jeffrey Epstein didn't, as Alan Dershowitz suggested the other day, pay the guards off to allow him to kill himself. There's still all sorts of questions about it. There's very legitimate questions, unless you, Wajat, think that the Jeffrey Epstein case was just open and shut and there's no reason to dig any deeper. Obviously, there are very legitimate questions about it. But what Dan and Cash said can be true, and there can still be much more to learn about the corruption that involves very, very high levels of government.
Well, the biggest conspiracy theory, which I think happens to be true, is that there were clearly a lot of very high-profile people who knew what Jeffrey Epstein was up to and have never been held to account. And it is completely ridiculous. Yes. The only person languishing in a prison in America of any connection to do with Epstein is Ghislaine Maxwell, his madame, who helped him facilitate a lot of this abuse and is quite rightly serving a very long prison sentence. But no man has ever, who was participating with him, has ever been brought to justice. I mean, that is ridiculous. I want to ask you, Destiny, about something that's just been dropping, which is about Bruce Springsteen told a UK crowd that Donald Trump was unfit and treasonous. Trump responded in his normal, calm, self-effacing manner, called him a dried-out prune of a rocker on Truth Social. Highly overrated Bruce Springsteen. Not a talented guy, just a pushy, obnoxious jerk. And then he posted this video. And my question, Destiny, is can you watch that with a straight face? And it appears you can. Did you not find that even vaguely funny?
Every time I see a picture of the 9% body fat, 180-pound, rippling muscled Trump, because of the very real medical report we saw that assesses his physical condition, I'm in awe of him. I do agree with what Bruce Springsteen said, though. And I think the courts are basically reaffirming this, that Donald Trump is doing everything he can to destroy rule of law in this country. And that's why we are so desperate to talk about literally anything else, even if that's the prostate of the former president, than what Trump's current behavior.
I've got a question for you, just to see whether your own health and whether your own Trump derangement syndrome is at an advanced aggressive stage. And it's this. Do you give Trump any credit for reducing the number of illegal people coming over the southern border by 96% in 3 months? Yes or no?
It's a strange question.
Not really. It's a very simple.
It kind of is.
It's a very simple, factual question.
If you had cancer of the brain and I cut your head off, would you give me credit for getting rid of the cancer? I mean, I guess. I mean,
you don't think it's an achievement?
Illegal immigration has definitely decreased. All of our tourism has decreased. If part of the reason why the immigration or illegal immigration has decreased is because nobody wants to come to this country anymore because they can see it's turning into a massive shit show. I mean, does he get credit for that? I guess, sure.
Can I defend it?
Yes, you can.
I think it has to do with the foreign
terrorist. Listen, as a...
I don't think Dave, it doesn't even have to be defended.
It doesn't have to be defended.
Obviously, it's a stunning achievement, which everybody can say is a great
achievement. I'm a laminated card-carrying member of MAGA. I go to the meetings with Knowles. He brings the cigars. I bring the tequila. We talk about these people. Look, I can easily defend the border. I can easily defend the trade deals. I can easily defend what he's doing in the Middle East. I can easily defend what he's doing with Russia, Ukraine. I can easily defend what he's doing as it relates to getting wokeness out of schools and blowing apart the Department of Education. You can defend all of those things very easily.
Any one of these topics, Dave, all of these.
Can you defend this, Dave Rubin?
The entire world market is shuddering. The bonds market is shuddering as a result of these things. Nobody agrees.
Well, actually, the stock market's actually doing fine. Now everyone's calmed down and stopped shaking and screaming. It's actually fine.
All the losses were...
Dave Rubin, quick question, though. The really big debate...
The markets are not fine, but go ahead.
Well, they are. Dave Rubin, straightforward question. The most contentious thing of all, is the boss, Bruce Springsteen, overrated?
Yes, he's overrated. First off, I'm a Long Island guy, so you go to Billy Joel as the default. But any day, you know who I will take over Bruce Springsteen any day? About a month ago, I had the honor of interviewing 90-year-old Frankie Valli, and that guy is still out there performing.
Yeah, but his voice is gone.
He's doing it every night on the road.
Yeah, but his voice is gone. The boss, I mean, come on, with Can we find common ground? I think Bruce Springsteen's fantastic. I don't agree with his view about Trump, but I don't think Trump's right to call him overrated.
Right. Bruce Springsteen, look at his catalog. Fantastic catalog. You can disagree with his politics, but how can you knock an American icon, Bruce Springsteen? And show me that you're out of touch without telling me, and I'll show you Dave Rubin. He'll go for Frankie Valli instead of Bruce Springsteen. But all right, that's how you win over the
they were
kids.
great.
Yes.
Jersey Boys is one of the all-time great movies.
That means you're out of touch because Frank Sinatra is old and dead. Yeah, that's really terrible if you listen to him.
Yeah, Frankie Valli, total legend. But Michael Knowles, the boss, overrated?
I love Thunder Road, okay? It's a great song, and I love Atlantic City, even though I think the band did a better version than Bruce Springsteen did. So, look, I like the boss. I think he's pretty good. I also agree he's a little bit overrated. People try to make him into Bob Dylan. He's not really Bob Dylan, and he does kind of look like a dried-up prune. So I think what Trump said is true, although I still love my Jersey Shore bops.
Okay, Destiny, can we find any common ground here? Is the boss overrated?
Listen, I grew up listening to Linkin Park and Third Eye Blind and these other bands, okay? So out of my generation, unfortunately. I have no strong opinion here.
Here, Piers, in the spirit of bringing us together, I want to send Wajid a gift after the show. I don't have his mailing address, but I just wrote "You Tried" and I signed it on a piece of paper here. So can you guys just get this to his people? Would that be possible? Because he tried real hard today, and that's important.
Did you write it, or was it in Russian? Do it in Russian for me. It'll be more authentic.
Still trying. Still Trying. I'll even sign it again.
Comrade Rubles. Do it in Russian and I'll believe you.
Got him.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, look at this guy.
Just
Here's
leave
I'm
it
gonna
at
photocopy and we'll
Comrade
send
Rubin.
everyone.
I think that's got a nice little ring to it, actually. Gentlemen, thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Take care.
Thanks.
Well, joining me now in the Uncensored studio is Jason Miller, the long-serving senior advisor to President Trump. Jason, great to see you here in London. Why are you here?
Here to see Ambassador Warren Stevens, incoming ambassador to the Court of St. James, the U.S. ambassador to the UK. Great guy. I think he's going to be a fantastic representative for the United States.
Not important. Don't care. That was perfect, right? See, I'm just finishing my food, so great. Because I want to throw some. Look at my thing here. You know, this will be a perfect time for me to wave check. Not a wave check, right? Now we're on the cusp, right? We're almost done. Like the next man, that freeze is crazy on my screen. But once I get my this next haircut, right? Well, that I'm going to give myself, because now we're back in the business of giving our ourselves haircuts, or about to, right? Or about to start giving ourselves on haircuts. Now it's the time. Ooh, actually, that's came out way better than I thought it was going to be. Look at that. Damn. Oh,
I appreciate it.
My bad.
Anytime.
Take care.
Thanks. Well, joining me now in the Uncensored studio is Jason Miller, the long.
Excuse me. It's gonna. But let me look at this. Can I see? Still got a little bit to do over there, but okay. That actually was a little bit better than I was actually expecting, right? Because now what we need to do is we got to cut it at 2s instead of 1.5s. We usually get a haircut at 1.5s. Now we do 2s, right? 1.5s is like the old, OD, really trying to like get the weakest link out type of like hair training possible. And then 2s is when you're like, now you're trying to maintain, well, not maintain, but then allow the rest to grow and make up the bulk, right? Because I look at this and I see my hair doing its thing, and once it start letting it grow out to the 2s, we'll be good. We will be good. Man, that look good. That do look better. Look better than what I was expecting, because I'm like 89% of the way there, okay? As far as like where I want my hair to be. Which I'll probably cut it like maybe this weekend. Maybe this weekend I'll cut it. Yeah, I'll cut it. But I'm going to use the 2. And it doesn't feel like there's too much to take off, but we'll see, right? I wash it, then cut it, then wash it again, then put stuff in it. So, all right. So let me, do I even want to drink anything? I don't want to drink anything. It'll be okay. I'm going to bring my gallon of water, and then we're going to get started with the Z games. So, in fact, I'm actually going to change over to the gaming screen. Let me like adjust my PlayStation real quick. Man, I'm trying to think. My stomach's right here. My chest is right here. Gotta bust out the chest more. We get all that relatively soon. Let's get the games section out here. Cut that on. All right, let me just be right back. Let me just grab my like water jug thing, and then we get started. Okay. Seeing that it's still a blank screen only tells me that man. That tells me that this my Elgato is acting funny. My Elgato is acting funny. Okay. So let's see. My thing's acting crazy. All right, let's see. So you guys are gonna have to give me a second because now I have to sit there and play around with why the game's console doesn't want to go up. And the problem is that I had a PCIe game catcher card, but the 5090 is too goddamn big, so I couldn't. There's nothing I could do about that. There's nothing I can really do about it. Although I might, maybe I do give it a shot and try to still get it in there anyway, and just accept that the 5090 be on a slower PCIe slot. I'm gonna see if it makes I'm gonna research to see if it makes a difference, and if it doesn't, that's what we're gonna do. Because I need my capture card back, please, because I can't keep doing this. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and I got it working. And then, of course, because of the way that unplugging and plugging stuff back in works, you're gonna have to. Oh no, it's just not showing up. Okay, well, right, the capture card is bypass or showing the PlayStation on my monitor, but now there we go. Deactivate and activate. This is one by one. Have been something else. Okay, cool. Here. Gotta play us some games here. Last thing I just want to do is that is not what I wanted. I wanted the Black Magic. Get the NVIDIA background remover. Okay, gotta But we're gonna play some Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm gonna play some Monster Hunter Wilds. Play a little bit of this. Oh yeah, you're right. I have to go through the pain of changing all of the settings. So 1 second while I'm changing it. Let's do man. You know what? I'm gonna make it that someday. Won't be relatively soon, but it should be relatively easy, especially with the advent of AI. This is Monster Hunter Wild. Yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds. I can see it in the little text. So let's just change kick real quick.
Just go to their page and start the last one. Coming up.
What stuff I clicked on that was loud like that, but. Just give me a second. I gotta change the changing the game. This might having to sit here and do this. Almost there, almost there. Okay. My girl over there looking bad. Okay. So she said this and that. That's on my stream. Turn it off on my other servers. Just a second here.
Surviving this is going to take all combined power.
Yeah, you're going. She looks cool though. I like her. She's
Retreated beneath the Everforge. I'm guessing it's at the bottom of the
more
basin.
control over her armor and some facial features, but other than that, we're perfect. So. That's right. No, I was trying to get some armor pieces because it's not together.
Must keep a zoo safe at all costs.
I think I can free myself up for a bit. Got it. Let's get. Yeah. Anything catch your eye?
These were already made. Oh, did I already make everything? She said this was yeah, we're good. In that case, we could just go ahead and
That's it, Maki. Keep it up.
Almost there. The heat may be on, but our Zeus can take it.
I'm not giving up. I won't. Gemma, leave this one to me.
Nata, do you need a rest?
to set up the camps and whatnot. Continue the story. We find him. Oh,
Right.
I don't know what to do. Now, generally, just
I'm happy to help anytime.
search for the black flame. Search. Okay, do I just like trying to think about this? Wait, is this? It's like it's. Where am I supposed to go?
Right. Understood. Right. Happy to help anytime.
See.
Leave the black flame to the traveler. We need to focus on all the.
Believe in the travelers.
Did you see how hot the black flame burned?
Yeah. It really got my heart
waiting here.
racing.
If we make it through this, you think we could? I don't know.
Finish that thought.
Oh no.
Where's the black flame? Let us at it. We'll teach it a lesson.
Shouldn't we do more to help that traveler? No, the chief is forbidden it.
Guide. So the world like wait, just transition from like the see. I had to press this on foot. Could you imagine if you could just drink a drink that just keep you warm and just have the temperatures rapidly this way? It would be so perfect, bruv. You know, I could have the AC on full blast and not be freezing myself. Like, have the hot headed favorite activity. Sure. Like, we ain't got nothing else to do. I was trying to make it So.
Everything a monster leaves behind.
Hang in there.
Move. Chris, come. Crazy. Hi. Somebody.
Thanks to your fine work.
Spider, Mr. Spider. There it's right there. Like real life, like doing some stuff like this. Like this is. I got beef with that spider. That spider really tried to jump me while I was hitting it. That's crazy. Ow. Bro, I tried to jump out the way. This is the first. No, no. It's like Matter of fact, look at your little children too. know what? Yeah, I can use some more. All these. Yeah, your kids ain't gonna be able to rap. I'm about to use all of their guns. Need some monster food carved out. Check the phone pile, you never know. Somewhere in this area, so it really is gonna make us like have to search around.
Plan if this doesn't work.
Going to be okay? Don't you worry. Everyone's fighting to save the village.
Understood.
For sure, for sure. Space. I feel like it could be. Take 5. Stop. I'll make it stick yeah, see, like, I don't know, it's like something about the size of the bone tip doesn't work. You know, I gotta get the money.
Gathered some materials too. Check the field pouch.
Thing go.
Watch your feet in this oil celt.
So look over there.
Hang in there.
Weather's unrelenting. We'll just have to tough it out. thanks to your fine work.
What if you got some? You don't do it. Request you may receive an appraisal item. Such as decorations. Yeah. Get this sleep resistant for sure. Maybe. Sleep.
I'm sure Gemma and the others have it under control. Let's head back.
I was gonna say, I was like, hey, you want to take me back there? I just want to see the cutscene, and then we cut it off. We're good. It's like I'm so proud of my friend. She gotta look good, man. She gotta look good.
Well,
It's among the best we've made. Thank you. We owe it all to you.
no, we did this together.
Everyone, great work! We did it!
Stunning egg.
Stunning him out too. The oil.
She's like really good. Look at that. See, make her pretty proud. You know? Okay. Fantastic.
You did well.
It's like,
We owe you and Jesus an apology.
Right.
It's fine. You did it for us. We were the ones who got carried away. All's well as long as the Everforge is working.
bro, like they're like the skins and stuff that they put on the characters is so nice.
Thought I'd seen it all.
Gemma? The boss said I did well. I think he's really excited for the next one. That's great. When everything was falling apart, I was ready to give up, you know. But then, you really yelled the courage right back into me. You single-handedly saved the day. I don't know about that. I think you can't get a finished product without all the components coming together, right? Hmm? Yeah.
Big sis. Big sis, you're so awesome. I love you, big sis.
people. Sure strong.
Sorry. My character. What's talking to my character? God. Together.
Thank you, travelers, for everything you have done.
All of Azusa's tribes owe you our lives and livelihoods.
What do you intend to do next?
It was arrogant to think we could harness the Fire Spring's power anytime we want.
Turns out too much of a good thing can be a bad.
Was that the first time the Fire Spring ever broke its cycle?
Yes. Werner explained that our seasons are produced by some artificial mechanism. Not sure I believe it. Everything we consider nature isn't natural. We're gonna need some time with that one.
Werner was just trying to make things better for us. We won't hold it against him.
So they'll take it, you know. It is kind of hard, like when you know folklore that get into like the weeds of nature and stuff. You get something like like it's actually because of this science.
Chief Yabron, you mentioned hearing
hard pill to
stories
swallow.
about the Black Flame when you were a boy.
Yes. I pored over some old tomes and finally found what I believe might be its name. It is called New Ultra.
The apex predator of this region.
We'll begin by returning to the Plains base camp. We have to share our findings with our colleagues.
Really? But the season of plenty is just starting. Surely there's no harm in staying a little longer and enjoying it.
It's not the worst idea I've heard.
Not too bad. Alright, well that's that.
All units of the expedition will be converging at the Windward Plains base camp. Rosso from the Rubrum unit is requesting our support.
Stop.
Hey, congrats on another job well done. The heat was on, but you were blazing.
Right back at you.
Everyone, you, the rest of the team, the villagers, it was amazing. And Maki's whole outlook's really turned around. All that fire really put a shine on her.
And that little girl that used to be a lot like her. Does she approve?
He's talking about her.
Oh, yikes. Are we really going there? I guess little Gemma would be ugly crying her eyes out. That's how proud she'd be. Thanks, Hunter. You're a good friend.
I had some thoughts about that word friend, but I stop. Stop.
Anything catch your eye? Yo?
Thing I hate, man. Why am I missing some stuff? I think wait makes one for this. I was hoping she has some bad. She's gonna have some bad kicks on her. That's what I'm struggling with right now, bro. Like I can't. I need to find something that look good on her. She can't just put anything on. She can't do anything. She can't be covering up how good she look like this. You know, this is this is this. Crazy. Japanese. Or like shown in San This. Yeah, this was actually kind of like this. She got that shit on her a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
What are we making today?
Made from yes. That's sad.
Yeah. Look good?
I use the just iron. Oh yeah, the party.
Anything catch your eye?
Is it not the upgradable? Smart weapon just up.
What are we making today? What are we making today?
Just have a talent. Pendants. They were pendants actually.
We're making today. Know where to find me.
I want to say we're done now, guys. All right. Some items. Wow, I was just craving like getting a little game in for like an hour or so. This was fun. You know, this was fun. I said I really like my character. My character, I don't know why I fell so much in love with my character design. See that? Like, look at her. The highlights and everything. That's some good clothes for her, bro. I want her to be having that shit on, and I just say, she placed my axe at some point. Get back to watching the show. Okay. Man, that was nice. That was nice. Good, nice little break into gaming because we don't really get to play too much games like that per se. Ooh, boy, look at that! Look at that! Oh yes, that's they. I just gotta get them right. That's all it is. I just gotta get them right. Sorry, I'm frozen because like my monitor when the PlayStation goes on, my monitor automatically like switches the signal back to the PC, and then my PC then realizes that it has another monitor again, so it does the jump over. But we'll go back over here, or actually no, better yet, let's put the things back here. Let's look at the hair one more time. Brav. Man, I ain't got my brush over here, but I need to make sure I put these things back on when I'm going to bed. But okay, you know, that was that. That was fun. That was cool. We gotta get up for work in a couple of hours. But yeah, everything looks good to me. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody that's stopping by. Like I said, I think I am going to give it another, maybe one more week. Give me like one more week, right? Because now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spend the rest of this week trying to get things back together, or try to fine tune, because I know what I need to do for the freezing, the occasional freezing in OBS. That'll be good. And then there was something else I needed to work on, but I just don't even remember anymore. But I'm sure I'll figure it out. But you know, it's all a wrap up. It's all wrapping up to come together. So we'll get it all right, and then we can really get to it. I was supposed to say I did the AI thing, and I just, you know, if I had to see, it's only 2:42. I normally would have stayed up and continued, but since I got to work in the morning, and that's what I mean by my weekend schedule, brevs. My weekend schedules are just hard. I'm getting that OT. I am getting that OT, but man, this is hard. It is hard, and thankfully, right? Hold on, there we go. I wanted to jump and grab that. Have my character grab that thing. I wanted, you know, I needed it because, you know, all the stuff that I had, I need the debts paid, so I need the extra money. I got to get the extra money in, and I got to show myself being valuable to the company, for the company, right? Like Lethal Company, you know. So it's just a work in progress, but we'll adjust as need be, and yeah. I'm gonna focus on a few more tech videos. I got some tech videos getting ready to come out because I've just been lazy and had them scheduled so far out because I haven't had a chance to do any quality control yet. And I just want to at least have them scheduled so they show up on my thing like, hey, you need to do quality control. You need to check. Because if I don't have them scheduled and I have them just like produced but not anywhere, then I'll forget about them because I get busy with other stuff. But oh shoot, let me put the yeah, you're right. Let me take the remover off real quick. There we go. You know, if I don't see them, they're out of sight, out of mind, as they say, you know? So yeah, so like I have them scheduled and I need to get them through so I can get them produced, but then I need to also work towards some other videos because I got a bunch of videos I got queued up to make that I haven't made yet. It's just tech stuff, nothing fancy. Y'all ain't gonna worry about it. Y'all don't care. Just don't worry about it. But with that being said though, yeah, oh yeah, and then I gotta adjust the color thing because I look crazy bright. I do look crazy bright. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. Let me see something real quick. Did I throw it here? No, I didn't. If I had to guess, is it over here? Apply LUT. But how is the color correction thing working if it's only supposed to impact HDR? Right? Let me go like this, right? Because this is color correction off. I don't know. See, and that's the thing, right? This is the thing I'm talking about, right? OBS is not supposed to let you do that if you're doing HDR. I'm doing HDR, and yet it did it, and I prefer that because then I don't look like so washed out bright, like I'm like having vago. But okay, well we'll just leave it be then. Guess I'll just leave it be. But with that being said, guys, I appreciate everybody.
Will the United States economy survive? Will the tariffs unleash the United States the same as child sweatshop workers? Find out next time on Velazquez Stream.